We impose their CROWS.
Hey, all right?
Yeah.
Shane's done a runner, is he?
Yeah,
Think
he's got to
so.
come back.
How's it going?
Not bad, boys. Yourselves?
All right. Yeah, all right.
Not too bad, bet. Not too bad.
Good.
Another week older.
Usual shite, like.
Really?
Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. Love a bit of technical difficulties as well, innit? That's the best way to start it off.
Yeah. No, right, what people don't realise is we spend a lot of time beforehand getting this all right. And,
Do we?
Yeah.
Well, and it still goes wrong, so no matter
Literally sod off, go for a quick toilet break, get a cuppa in, get your drinks ready, and then
Must be a hell of a wipe.
we still can't get it loaded. Like, unbelievable.
game over.
Aye.
So
I think we got Shane. Yeah, he's definitely down the bottom. Hang on. Just your camera, Shane. And your
it was me last week.
I know, innit?
So what's everyone been up to anyway?
Oh, been painting a fence, but
Again?
painting a fence.
The same fence, is it?
You haven't seen the size of the fence, but
Yeah. No, I have. Yeah, I have. If it's in Nanty-Moyle. Is it Nanty-Moyle?
no.
No, it's not the one I'm thinking of then.
What have you been doing?
Me? Oh, usual shite. In the garden, had about 20 million barbecues.
Yeah, I had a barbecue last week, actually.
Yeah, I've been
Got some
serial barbecuing. Like it's been just probably like 2 or 3 last week when the weather was nice. Took the dog up to as it's always about the dog with me. Took her up to is it Margam Reservoir, Blue Pool or something they call it.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh man, it's stunning up there. Well, I hadn't been up there for years, so I thought, let's go. So took her up there. She loved it. It was great.
Watch out for the adders, but
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
adders at this time of the year. I mean, they're mainly in the ferns, but they'll get the dog, like, and
Yeah.
if anything, you want to avoid a vet bill, don't you?
Well, she's insured, so I mean, I think she can get as bit as much as she wants.
That makes it all okay.
Fuck it. She bites me enough, so
You might shut that up for a bit.
bit of revenge. Like that's about it, really. That's all I've been doing. Not a lot, really.
Yeah, cool.
Ronald?
What have you, Ron?
I've had a busy week, I have, boys. It's been a really good week this week.
Sweet.
Last week I was a little bit down when I was a bit like, ooh.
Yeah.
This week I've been really positive. I've been baking.
Have you?
I've been baking loads, man, honestly.
You like Mary Berry, is it?
Or through,
Honestly, I'm addicted to it. So I've done, I think I said last week, I've done meringues. I did them again. I've done chocolate chip cookies, lemon loaf, like a lemon drizzle loaf. Wasn't happy with the topping, but the rest was banging. Mrs. is loving that with a cup of tea. So yeah, just been keeping myself busy doing that. I watched Gangs of London.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
Good.
yeah.
Is that good? I've
Yeah.
seen people raving about that.
Yeah, well, that's
seen,
what.
Mark Kane from one of the boys up at Steelhouse, you know, Kaney.
Yeah,
I see he put him on Facebook. He reckons it was the biggest crock of shit going, but everyone else, that's like the only negative thing I've seen.
No,
But,
I mean, I
everyone
did
else is great.
I did the same as you, man. I looked over the net and I seen loads of people raving on about TV series and this Gangs of London. It just kept popping up. So I thought, right, give it a blast, and absolutely hooked on it. And Ricky Gervais dropped the series as well, Afterlife.
Yeah,
Man.
I watched that. Good, wasn't it?
Oh man, have you ever watched a series where you absolutely piss your pants in literally one line you're pissing your pants, and next you're nearly bawling? Like,
Wasn't that? Did that come out a while ago?
No, he did first season a while ago.
Right, yeah, that's dark.
Yeah, it touches on some dark subject
Yeah,
matter.
that's
I
dark.
think it's done really well. I think it's like, yeah,
I think Ricky Gervais is amazing, boys. I think
yeah,
he's
Thank you.
class.
yeah, it's good, man.
Thank you.
I kind of binge watched it the last couple of days, and I really enjoyed it.
That's really cool. B made flapjacks this week.
Cool.
like I said last week, B sent me a recipe, so I'm gonna try and nail that. It's like a Rolo cheesecake. So
Is it?
yeah, keeping myself busy on that. Shiner's look, he's like, whoa, what can he cook me in it?
Yeah, I've actually cooked donuts this week.
Did you,
Have you?
Brett?
Yeah.
Fucking
Hold on a
hell.
minute. Hold on a
Fucking
minute.
hell.
Hold on a minute.
What's
Stop the
happened?
press,
I
everyone.
didn't expect that one. That's
Yeah.
amazing, Brett.
2 days for the dough and the Easter band together.
Well, fuck, you've blown my mind. That's incredible, Brett. Were they nice?
No.
That was like a proper build up, man.
At least you tried, man. At least you tried.
Oh man, that was like a proper
Yeah.
build up.
No, there was lemon in them, and it was like, leave the lemon out next time.
Yeah, I agree.
I love your brother's
I
comment,
agree.
but he's gone. He's pissed.
Oh,
Hang on.
Hang on, what do you cook? I can see it now. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh man, oh that's amazing, Shine.
yeah. Well, speaking of him, that's actually less information that he knows.
Oh, is
'Cause
it?
he ate them. Yeah,
Oh, he ate them, did he?
yeah.
Well, you didn't know you made them out.
I hope you
Well,
washed it
he's when
on.
I'd fucking he's when I'd fucking arsenic in it.
Oh,
Right,
did
we
he?
got
Oh,
we got Shane.
Goodbye,
Let's-
Moose. Nice knowing you, bet.
2 seconds. Let's try and add Shane.
Shane
2
coming back, is he?
seconds. Yeah. Let's see if I can get this to work.
Axel Rose, is he?
Nice
There he
join
is.
us, but-
Yeah, we're on
Hey,
the-
I have no
there
idea
he is.
what has happened.
All right, bro.
I think it's something to do with Jack Daniels.
Excellent.
Ah,
I have no idea what happened there.
that doesn't matter, does it?
But I
That's
was
all right.
listening-
It's got to happen to at least one of us a week, so just keep up.
My
the tradition.
mind was just blown. We were talking about baking, so I've been baking this week, and obviously catching up on the old Netflix. And then Shiner made donuts, but
I know. I was just listening on the Facebook. That is unbelievable, Bet.
Yeah. Well,
But they weren't any
cooking,
good,
like,
though.
yeah,
And
to
Moose
be
ate them
honest,
apparently, and he's still alive.
Yeah. Cooking was the only thing I was good at. It's
Did he
food.
fuck?
Who said that?
You know,
You haven't eaten them apparently. Did I fuck? He said.
yeah, who fuck you at them.
Chuck them in the bin. Did he?
Yeah, I can feel a bit of an argument coming on here, boys. We still up for it.
Let's do it up. Shree. Let's do it up.
I think that's
Yeah, you
brilliant,
will-
Shine. When you said that, then it reminded me of the fair. I thought he was going to say,
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
remember
like
when you
the-
used to go to the fair when you were
Yeah.
younger? You'd
Bag
always
of
smell the-
10.
Yeah, you pay a pound, wouldn't you? You have your 10 bloody sugary donuts.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
grandfather had a donut van.
Really?
No way.
Yeah, honestly, he was always down Stormy Down Market. You know Stormy Down?
Yeah.
I probably
did
had
every
some from him.
Sunday. And he had a proper. You just put the batter in, like, and all the donuts come out. And yeah, bang.
Yeah.
For anybody listening, Stormy Down Market in Wales was a place you went Sunday. So you were either made to go there if you were really young and it was boring because it was car boot sales and market stalls. If you got to a certain age, you wanted to make money, you were there. Or if you were incredibly hangover, you'd always end up there. I don't know
Yeah,
how you'd always end up there on a Sunday somehow, like, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's just basically like a giant outdoor car boot sale, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, but
I did a boot sale here once, yeah.
they had go-kart in here as well, didn't they?
That's
Ah,
right.
yeah.
That's what I'd done my CBT motorbike license many years ago.
really?
Yeah,
The
down
gym,
there.
gym
yeah.
used to be up that way. I used to go to a gym called Force up there. It used to be right next to that place.
I'm
Those
not
go-
sure. I'm pretty sure they years ago they used to have a shooting range up there as well. Yeah,
Was that just a jippo with a gun out the back? Like,
you like dags?
yeah.
All I can tell you about that place is every Sunday around the early 2000s, we used to go down to Shed Towers, down to Johnny Gibbons' house, like back then. And on a Sunday, you never knew what they were going to come back with. It was always, you always wanted to go around late Sunday afternoon just to see what like Nipper had bought. It was either a pair of skis. I'm not joking. He had no intention of going skiing. It was a pair of skis because he got them like cheap off somebody from a car boot, or what they call them, the old big squeeze box, like.
Accordion.
Oh,
Yeah.
accordion, yeah.
He come back with an accordion, and literally every week, all you do, he do that South Park thing where you go, well, and that was
Put it down.
yeah.
that was it. Then put it down, and he even come back with a trumpet, didn't he? I'm sure he come back with a trumpet from Stormy, like.
You could buy anything at Stormy, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Those go-karts were death traps. They weren't safe. They were not safe.
Wonder if they're still there now, the go-karts. I mean, another thing is whether they still run them or not.
I don't know.
I don't think they do, dude. They don't even have the market there anymore, I don't think.
That's a shame.
It's mainly like a big solar panelled field now.
Yeah.
There's a bit of there's a bit of info. Neil Hughes, Storming Down was also a landing strip doing World War II. I can't even read that. Sorry, Neil.
Yeah,
wow, look at that. Huh?
Dave. Dave.
Yo.
Dave, he's pinched your Dave knows bit. But
Did you know?
Man. I'll come fill him in. What was his name? I'll fill him in.
You couldn't put a sandwich, son, let's be honest.
Oh, there we are. Annie Marie, I used to buy my music cassette tapes from Stormy. That's damn right, that is, Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
music cassettes, vinyl. I used to buy when I was like proper young. I used to buy like proper young. When I was young, double young. I used to buy wrestling figures.
Yeah.
How many youngs can
still
you get?
does,
There?
I was the same, but
Yeah, buy your wrestling figures and stuff like that, and little trains and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love boot sales, man, for stuff like that, like carpentry tools, like really old traditional tools,
and shell suits apparently.
get it really cheap, like, you know.
I remember the stall that did shell suits. You said that.
I got my shell suit from Ponty Market. There was a market up in Ponty as well, wasn't there? And I remember really, really, really wanting to look like Terry Venables. So I was like 10 years old. So I went out. I got my mum to get me the England like shell suit, like the England football top, and I had like brown trousers on underneath. Like, Terry Venables used to wear that. what a look to like go for when you're 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know.
It's all thing. What was your week like, Shane?
Well, pretty much like you was, but I've been baking as well. I made some banana bread. I finally found the ingredients because I've been trying to get flour, caster sugar, vanilla extract. I couldn't get it anywhere. Like, it was sold out. So I finally made my first banana bread and literally ate it all the same day.
Good man.
It was absolutely banging.
Success, yeah?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Did you feel like a mass sense of achievement? It's mad. I was like, check it out. Check out my cake.
100%. I thought I was really, I could cook anything, but the truth is, I can't. It's like I'm not a good cook at all, but I don't know what it is about cakes. I'm all over there.
Yeah, I'm loving that.
You ain't bad at the poached egg either, but the poached egg and avocado.
You got it, but I can make a mean poached egg, as Chris Clancy knows.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll talk about it for an hour after this.
Yes, we will.
No, but it has. It's been kind of like it's been a release and like a challenge to do something new, like, you know. So, but I said all in all, I think this has been it's been a very quick week, but it's been a far better week. Do you know what I mean? Where there's no last week was a bit of a dip. I think everyone was feeling it. Where this week I found this number one gone really quick. I've had fun. We did like a quiz, didn't we? We met up on Saturday. Honestly, boys, I know you two couldn't make it. I
will next time.
Man, I haven't been. I've seen loads of people doing it. So basically, everybody's posting on Facebook this Zoom pub night in, and they're theming them. And so we decided, look, let's try it. So a small group of us did it. What a laugh! Started off, I felt a little bit. I don't know if I like this because it's a bit weird. You know, we're not down a pub, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then bloody hell, what time do we go to bed?
About 3, was it? 4 o'clock?
You do get into it, don't you? I do them with Lisa's parents and my sister and the rest, with like family sort of thing, and it's such a good laugh, isn't it?
It is, because you can literally visually see people get drunker by the minute, which is just entertainment in itself. Then you throw a quiz in, and then it becomes the competition. It was brilliant. Yeah, thoroughly needed hours.
It really perked me up.
Yeah,
perked me up.
I can relate to that. Like a couple of weeks ago, I video called Shane from Florida. So of course he's floating around his tour in margarita, and he's on his big rubber ring, and there's me sat in here looking at him, he's pissing down. I'm thinking, I should be there, like.
Hey man, we can't complain about the weather, can we? I mean, so today's been the first day it's rained in about a month.
I'm glad it's rained. It's good for the garden.
Yeah. I was going to say that. My
Dave, that's how summer done. Look,
I planted some
was the
lavender
same
plants on
last
the
year, wasn't it?
weekend, so
yeah.
Yeah, you need.
glad.
Yeah, it needs a bit of rain. And I sound like a bunch of old men, don't we? We're talking about the garden every week, like.
Well, my brother, as you know, boys, is a PT, innit? And I was supposed to do like a family sort of fitness thing the morning after the quiz. There's no chance. Weren't happening.
man.
Is he doing like an online sort of like
Yeah. So
lesson
we've been
thing? Oh,
yeah, he's been doing it every day, and we've done it now 2 days in a row. We've done it this morning, and we got another one tomorrow. But like you know what 50 is, boys. He's incredible, and he's a
Yes.
machine.
well,
But yeah, after that quiz, I just sat there with a cup of coffee and watched them all. I tuned in and just watched them drinking my coffee. Like, I was in a bad way.
We just kept. It started off a little bit lighter. I mean, my missus did a couple of bottles of the old like sparkly wine, and she's never like that. But it was just a great banter, great atmosphere. I do encourage her, man, especially if people are feeling a bit isolated and everything. Try and jump on
Absolutely.
one. It just done me the world of good. The hangover didn't. I mean, the alarm call at 6 o'clock when you run into the toilet and you can't work out which one you need first. Like that was an hell of an experience. Because basically I think I started on the old Jack, the same as Shane, because I was like giving him the whole I'm on the Jack, Shane. Hey. That went south to like Merlin, Penderyn, that Bailey's vibe. Like,
And
do you know what I mean?
that was your mistake, bro. You cannot be mixing that.
Yeah,
Yes,
saying that, I was sober enough to give you lot the poll choice. I went, what shall I do next? And you're all like, yep, definitely that. Or somebody said it, yeah, definitely that. And then I think I finished it off with a bit of Aste Spumante before bed. I don't know how that happened. I just opened up
Asti Martin, yeah, that stuff.
Opened up a
Right.
random bottle of bubbly, and it was just like my missus is looking at me going, everyone's going to bed. What are you doing?
It's good, man. It's good. No, it is really good fun. Yeah, definitely.
It is. How's your week been, Lloyd? I know you give me a ring, bud.
yeah, all good, man. I mean, I kind of feel like I got a bit of normality back. I'm getting up at like 6 a.m. every day now. Apart from today, I have to go back to bed because I had a bad eye. Fucking hell, I fucking put moisturizer on last night before I went to bed because I've been out in the sun, and I think I fucking rubbed it. And I was like, I was driving Sam. I dropped her to work this morning. I was driving back. I was just like, I can't fucking drive. So I thought I got home and I had a bowl of Rice Krispies in bed. Watched an episode of Only Fools and Horses.
Oh, nice.
Living the dream, eh?
Good effort.
Oh, it's brilliant. I felt lazy doing it. I was like, I fucking hate this, you know.
Peter Griffiths has just asked if I've been on the sunbed. Well, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but it's been sunny for about a month. So,
Yeah.
FYI, look outside.
Yeah. So the answer to your question, Pete, yes. He has.
Yes, I drive. I put a hoodie on so I can't see the sun. I drive into a sunbed, have a sunbed, put a hoodie back on, drive home, and close the curtains when I get home.
What is everybody drinking tonight? Is anybody drinking or?
I got a cup of tea, I have.
Tonight, a little bit of Chianti Classico.
Cup of tea in the CROWS mug.
Wine, cup of tea, Jack Henry.
Beer.
Tell you what, it's a good break, right? Because I was on my.
I don't drink anymore.
Oh, but that's what I'm doing. I'm on my 9th bottle of
I'm the same, Shane. I'm just an alcoholic now. I'm not afraid to. Maybe that's what the tan is. My face has just gone all red from all the booze. You know, that red face.
300-watt bulb.
Got a big strawberry nose going.
I've got a bit of colour on you now. Fair play.
Yeah, just been out. Just been out a lot.
His contrast on his screen. He's just turned it up to make him look good.
Yeah, filter.
You're looking more and more like that bloke last week.
Well, the Aborigine bloke.
Yeah. You're double.
No, he's more Donald Trump than Aborigine, let's be honest.
Tangerine boy.
Moose is on a wine, apparently, he just said. Well, Moose. Good man.
I think that's supposed to say, oh no, pink gin and lemonade. Tidy.
Have it with tonic, you lunatics. What's the matter with everyone having gin with lemonade? Like,
Oh, dude, you can't have it with tonic. Tonic is the worst.
get a grip, man. Get a
No,
grip.
no, tonic is the worst. Tonic is like air spray. It's disgusting. I can't be doing it.
Oh.
Can't
Yeah,
be
it's
doing
not
it.
it's not my
Terrible.
thing.
So, should we have some questions or what?
Aye,
Yeah,
go on then.
let's go for it.
Right then.
Hey, there was an incident.
Right. Let's start the stew hunting. We know what
Hang
stew.
on,
What
hang
the
on,
hell are
hang
you
on,
doing,
hang on.
dickhead?
Hang on, he's gone rogue again, haven't he?
What are you doing?
What's
that?
that,
It's
David?
like rabbit.
What
What the bloody animal hospital in your house, isn't
You're
it?
dead now. Let's have a couple of questions. Rabbit.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, look, there's a bunny rabbit.
It's a bunny.
I tell you what, I'll nip
What's up,
outside and bring a
Mark?
fucking sheep in, shall I? Which one do you want? There's fucking hundreds.
Bring them all in. As you were,
What are
Lloyd,
you?
as you
You're a
were.
ram?
As you were, but
Right then.
as you were.
Carry on.
I'm showing my tender side.
You're showing your fucking annoying side.
You already know that one, Lloyd. Come on now. Come on now, bro. You've had to put up with that for years.
Right, stew hunting. What's your favourite holiday destinations, boys?
The back garden at the minute.
Go
Mine
on,
was
Shane.
probably. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go on.
I am going to answer, boys. I haven't been on holiday for like 25, nearly 30 years. So.
No, you went to Ibiza, bud. What are you lying about that? You went
That
to
was a
Ibiza?
fucking holiday.
I seen you on the beach drinking, having a laugh, but that was a holiday. That's an holiday.
That was a fucking holiday.
China
I
walking
agree
around
with
in
you,
20
Shane.
degree heat in a hoodie and a denim jacket. Like,
Yeah.
That was brilliant, Shane.
Which actually I did forget about Ibiza, right? So we'll go with that one.
yeah. Correct.
Yeah, just because Dave said.
Oh,
tell you
Christ, that was class, Shane.
Speaking of Ibiza, though, that was obviously Hard Rock Hell thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was
I loved that, boys. Me and Ronnie were drinking again, but we were drinking.
Boys, you were on it when you that first night.
Man,
I didn't have the staying power that first night. You guys were like
Yeah.
on it. Was it the
Yeah.
first night or the second night? I can't remember.
I'm not putting ourselves down, but we did pretty good, didn't we? That,
we
was,
did,
that
but-
was fucking rock and roll. That was like,
And
do you know
that,
what I mean?
yeah,
But
and
the
that,
thing is
in
with
that
me and
Hard Rock
Ronnie,
Cafe,
like-
wherever it was, wasn't it?
it's just where we grew up. It's like we got this like competition thing. It's like it's
Yeah.
just inbuilt in us. So Ronnie would we sit down for a meal. That's all we did was have some food, wasn't it, first?
Yeah.
And then Ronnie
Right,
would,
and Ibiza Rocks, isn't it? That
Yeah.
little bar.
and then Ronnie
I
goes,
remember you
"Oh,
drinking the whiskey sours.
Yes, because Ronnie
I
goes,
was thinking that the other day. You just like, another one.
Ronnie goes, I'm having a gin. All right. I'll have a whiskey sour. So I had a whiskey sour. He has a gin, and he goes, "That's lovely, that is. I'm gonna have another one." Before we drank the other one, so I said, "Oh, if he's having one, I'm having one." And before you knew it, the table, I had like 4 or 5 drinks. He had the same, and it was like boosh, 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 and
It was
it's drinking all
strong
night
as
then.
well.
I loved. What a night that was.
What I love,
Charlie's just commented that just reminded everyone about that was when you walked into the door, Shane.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get my coat.
That's what I'm on about. It was a holiday.
Yeah. Busted
what,
my
I,
eye, bro.
what I loved about that was when the bill came at the end, and basically the boys checked in their like 20 euros or whatever they had for a little bit of food and a drink, and then me and you were we getting the notes out because we pretty
It was
much
like hundreds.
we spent just as much as they have in total on food on drink. Like, do you know what I
Just
mean?
make it rain.
Yeah. Oh fucking hell.
But they're the best
Yeah.
nights, though, innit? You know when you don't plan it, it just
Yeah.
happens. They're the best nights, man.
Well, I think it was every night.
Yeah, it was.
Well, the fucking
it was-
next night, we had a fucking fight on the beach.
It was one long night, wasn't
yeah.
it?
I was fucking FaceTime my missus about like fucking 4:30, 5 in the morning on the beach, and we were out on like that boardwalk. And I was just shy. I said, "I'll be back now." Come back about say 20 minutes later. Well, it felt like 20 minutes. It's probably more like 2 fucking hours. but this guy was like, "Where you going?" I was like, "I'm going in with it." No, you ain't. I was like, "Yeah, I will just come out there. My mate's free. I'm going in." I was like, "Anyway, you're not a member of security. Out the way." You ain't coming in. I was like, "I tell you what, mate. Fuck you. I'm out of here. Go on, Shines, go." That's my experience of Ibiza. Shit, though.
Yeah, do you remember we went? Do you remember we went up to that? What was that street with all the bars on, like the strip? I can't remember the name of the street. It's like it's got
It's
like
on a hill,
all
wasn't it?
the bars and stuff on. Man, what an
Oh,
absolute
cold.
fucking dump!
It was a
It was like the worst bars in Bridgend. All like there was like 100 of them all on a stretch, weren't they? And they
New
were
San
like,
Antonio. Is that what it is?
yeah, the town of San Antonio, but the name of the street was like
I
I can't
don't know.
remember the name of the street, but mate, I was just like, oh, I don't fancy this. I don't fancy this. Don't fancy this. I mean, Shiner at the back, like, oh my god, this is a shithole.
Well, that's it. They dragged us into that pub, didn't they? That club. They were like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
raving in here. We went in,
Just
walked
went in
upstairs.
there.
We were the only fuckers there. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the in-betweeners, man.
It was. Yeah.
It's
was.
literally it's like the us and the bar stools.
That's a really good saying. That's why I brought that up. You can't plan a good party. That is true. That is
True
true.
enough,
Some of the
but-
best nights are the ones that you don't expect. Do
Exactly.
you know what I mean? That's incredible. Like, can't plan a good party. Like,
So,
Anyway,
where's your
definitely
favourite
won.
destination, Dave?
I always said like Italy's my favorite country to go to. I've been to Italy loads of times. Like it's just like the way of life, like the food, the wine, especially northern Italy with like the mountains and stuff.
Like
Yeah,
Lake
it's
Garda, is it? In places
Yeah,
like
Lake
that?
Garda, places like that, man. It's just like I could just see myself like retiring there, you know. Definitely. Mainly the wine, like.
I got to agree with you here, Dave. I've been to Italy, and
Yeah.
it is the one place I could see myself retiring. And just
Yeah.
like we went over to the island of Capri, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth was there, and Johnny Depp while I was there. But
Right.
yeah, we had a chat like.
Yeah,
Um,
went for a pint, like.
but other than Italy, I think the Maldives. I've been to the Maldives. It's just paradise. It's,
Yeah.
I like that secluded sort of. I like to keep myself to myself, and that's for me. That's a real holiday when I'm not out with you boys drinking. Just a bit of time by yourself. You know what I mean? Where you literally lay on a sunbed on the beach. The view is incredible. That's an holiday for me. That's incredible. I love that.
man.
So.
I never used to be like that. Where like I never liked the idea of just sort of sitting there and just chilling and not, you know. But the idea of that now is just like the best
I
thing
know,
in the world.
isn't it? Yeah,
Things change, isn't it?
yeah.
What about you, Rono?
yeah, pretty much. It'd be a quick one for me. It's pretty much the same as Shane, where it doesn't matter where. There's been so many good holidays, but I found the ones that I enjoy the most are number one with the family. Number two, nice swimming pool, nice view, and really good food as well. I just like going out for meals. I like that whole thing. I think you guys have worked that out now. I'm very much I love socializing, sitting down on a big table, and food to me isn't a quick sit down and just eat your food and go. For me, I like sitting down and just kind of, as Del Boy would say, you know, we're taking in the ambience and speaking in between the mouthfuls, and so yeah, basically something like that. Like just so it's an event. Food time is an event, like, you know. So yeah, man. So anywhere, as long as it's got like beautiful beaches, nice view, happy days.
Sorry.
Happy days.
I don't think I
Anyway-
need to answer mine. I think every fucker knows what I like.
Yeah.
As long as it's got a mouse and a castle, I'm fucking happy.
Mountain Castle.
Yeah.
I'm sure Coity Castle.
Florida, Orlando, that's fine. I'm a big
Yeah.
kid. I'm a big
That's
kid,
great,
and
man.
just seeing the happiness on the kids' faces makes me 10 times happier.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
You
really
know?
good. That's wicked.
The fucking bank balance after it doesn't mind, but
Yeah.
you know,
Fuck it, man.
it's all worth it. It's memories, isn't it?
Memories are worth more than anything, but
Fucking
so-
crazy golf, fucking everything. Lose my shit, throw in the fucking club. It went in, I swear. No. Yeah, I got another question for you. Are any of us Welsh speakers? And if so, would you perform a song in Welsh? Now, I'm not really proud to say this because it is my country. I can't speak a word of the lingo.
I know a little bit.
A little bit.
I can't.
I wouldn't be able to get by, put it that way, if that's all we have to speak.
Interesting fact there. My dad is English, but he speaks fluent Welsh.
Does he?
Yeah, he taught at Llanarry School, so it's a
What's a legend?
speak Welsh. So he's put us all to shame.
An Englishman who wanted to be Welsh, basically.
Well, why?
Yeah, yeah.
Why don't he come with
Italian
us?
as well.
I'll translate
Italian as
that.
well.
Yeah, we all just went to like a main comprehensive around here that didn't make you speak Welsh. Where a lot of our friends, they kind of went to specific Welsh schools. So it's something I always wish.
Yeah.
But then saying that, if you would have ended up doing that, you wouldn't have the life you got now, would you? Like, so
Yeah, I mean,
That's it.
it's never
I
too
th-
late to learn, but it isn't an
Yeah.
easy language to pick up, I find.
Yeah.
So
I think I might spend a bit of time actually get like you can suppose you can download like an app or something and maybe have a little stab just because why not? No.
well, it's embarrassing when I do the Wales trips away. We always meet up with all the North Walians and stuff, and then like Shed will
Yeah.
obviously get involved in the conversations because he can speak Welsh, and that's just a real disconnect for me. And it's also embarrassing as well because but our Welsh lessons and stuff, I don't want to blame anybody, but our teacher was shit as well. Like, so it wasn't exactly like gripping. Do you know what I mean? So
We kept locking
Mrs.
ours in the cupboard.
Who's that, Ron? Mrs. Davis?
I didn't got a GCSE
Yeah,
in it. I've done an NVQ instead.
Heilwyn, wasn't it? Heilwyn
Yeah.
Davis.
Yeah.
And I think Heilwyn means sunshine. Or one of the boys was lying because he used to sing. Do you remember Morecambe and Wise? Bring me
That's Heinlog, isn't it?
sunshine. Yeah, he used to sing that constantly until she had a nervous fucking breakdown. Like,
There we are. That's me and you on the DJ out in Steelhouse next year. Walking ways.
Stu Endin just said the only Welsh he knows is stop tap, and I think that's a reference to that show we did in Blackpool. Do you remember, Shane? Do you remember that? No one knew what stop.
yes.
No one knew what stop tap was, and we were like,
Yeah,
"What
yeah.
are you on about?"
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
'cause
remember
he
that.
rang the bell, didn't he? So I saw a stop tap, and like
Yeah.
everyone just looked at me. He's like, "What? Didn't you know
You
what
know
stop tap means?"
It was like, "Yeah." Well,
I got a bit of Welsh for you, Dave. Have you got any more exploding carrots?
that's you're making them English wanker.
Oh, psychotic Welsh bastard.
Bastard.
There we are. Look, poppity ping. Someone's just put up. Joe Wright, poppity ping.
I think that's a load of bollocks. Apparently, it's mecrodon. That's what microwave is in Welsh, apparently.
Yeah, I know, but it's like a slang, innit? Poppity ping.
Poppity pig. I like that.
You've been misinformed. You have, love.
should we have some shout outs?
Oh, let's have some shout outs. Let's do a couple of birthdays first, if that's all right.
Cool.
Keris Adams, she is 18 on Thursday. Happy birthday. So, yeah, 18th. Keris has been through the mill, boys. She has had a really tough time. I don't want to go into it too much, but this girl, she deserves the mammoth 18th birthday, and she probably won't get that because of the lockdown. If we could just send her a massive happy birthday, send our love and stuff. So happy birthday, Keris.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Keris.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy
The
yourself.
one and only John Norman's birthday was yesterday from Planet Rock.
Hey.
Happy birthday,
John.
Happy birthday, Jono.
John has got
I
a
would
bit
be
of a
25.
25, yeah. 25 years ago, yeah. Yeah. John has got a bit of a prize for us for the competition maybe for next week. So we'll tell you about that later.
Sweet.
So happy birthday, John. I'm sure you celebrated well, buddy. And my brother. It's my brother's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday, Lee.
Happy birthday, Lee.
Happy birthday, Lee.
BFL in it, big firmly.
Big firmly. Yeah.
He took my title off me, didn't he?
So we're having a bit of a Zoom sort of party tomorrow with a quiz and drinks and stuff.
He's a good
Ah,
guy,
cool.
man. Happy birthday, Lee, man.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah.
Shout outs. We got Claire Jones. She's got 2 new baby crows to join the crow family because she's pregnant. She got twins.
Ah, congrats.
Birthday.
So yeah, that's what was that, Dave?
I said happy birthday.
Not a birthday. Not
Hey,
yet.
no. I know. Actually, I'm sorry, correct. There. Happy birthday in 9 months to the new crows.
I think
Just
it's less than 9
getting ahead of the game, like.
months. I think it's less than 9 months because she
Wow.
got twins. So it's definitely less than 9 months. But big shout
6
out to
months.
you, Kelly Gray and Shell Harris, the girls on NHS. I said I'd give them a big shout out. Incredible work, girls. Everybody on the NHS, but those girls in particular as well. And that's it. That's all I got.
Awesome. Before we do the competitions, it's the first week. We've got a little bit of news. So this week there was an announcement. Now I know people are going to be like, "Oh, it probably won't happen and whatever," but at the moment it is happening. It's been announced. We're really excited about it. I just need to load the damn bloody picture. Planet Rockstock. There we go.
Hooray!
So we are absolutely over the moon to be playing this year's Planet Rockstock, and we hope you are too as well. Obviously, everybody knows last year we were a surprise act, and obviously they wanted us to come back and do it all over again. So something to look forward to.
Yeah, more than happy to.
It is, and John said he'd get us more meatballs and flat pack furniture. So I'm ecstatic about that.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few comments. People are like, "Oh, it won't even be on." Well, we can't think like that, can we? We have to celebrate what we've got. That's been announced. It's amazing that we're back down there. Everybody knows we love Planet Rockstock. So for me personally, I'm excited another gig's been announced. So I'd rather be looking forward to something than kind of putting everything back and dwelling on the negative. Like, do you know what I mean? So
I think the good thing is if we get it all clear, all these new events are in place and it's going to happen. So it's something good to look forward to.
Damn right. And before we move on, a few people bombarded me with questions last night and today. I've seen a couple have popped up again. There's a little bit of a leak last night about us playing in a different country. So there's not really a lot we can say about that. But if anybody's seen the post off Uric, yes, of course I shared it. And yes, of course, we would love to go over to the US and play. So that's all we can actually say at the moment. We didn't expect them to post anything. So it is something that we're really excited about, and fingers crossed it all settles down. And USA.
You're getting closer to Joe Exotic, boys.
Oh, come on, innit?
Long live the flag.
We said it was going to be the year of the Crows, didn't we? Just might not be yet. Let's have some competitions.
Competition time.
I know we're gonna have to do some music.
Time. Come on. Do.
Woohoo!
I've been working on that all week, boy.
Do you want me to go first, Shane?
Yes, go for it, buddy.
Okay, so last week, it was a big one last week. The lovely guys at Monster Fest donated everything that's going along the bottom of the screen. Now I'll try and read it out as it comes back around. But basically, I was following it. 2 Monster Fringe tickets, which basically means you can come and watch us live on a Thursday night. 2 tickets to the Monster Fest weekend, which starts on the 12th, which is the Thursday, and ends on the 15th of November. There's the Wild Arts, there's FM, there's Marco Mendoza, there's a load of bands. And also they have chucked in last year's T-shirt, a set list from where we played there, and 4 badges. Absolutely amazing.
Couple of bags of drugs from where I'm sitting.
So massive shout out. Thanks to everybody who took place and who put themselves forward, including you, Dave. I see your name.
Yeah, I was in there.
Did it really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. It was a private.
Okay.
What I like to do is win the prizes, then just throw them in a bin so no one else can have them.
So the winner is. I haven't done this before.
Let me do a drum roll, bet.
Go on then, boy. I love her. Keep going.
That's a lovely drum roll.
Right, I go on. And the winner is. Tan Coombs.
Tan. That's
nice
amazing.
one, Tan Coombs.
So Tan Coombs, just so you know, you have won, and I think she's watching as well. So they will get in touch with you. We'll give them your contact details. You've won tickets to come and watch us on the 12th of November, and you've also won tickets to stay the full weekend at Monster Fest, which is an absolutely amazing event. Thank you guys. What a present. What an absolute, what a present. Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
It is incredible. I'm so happy Tan has got it. Tan, that's incredible. I'm so chuffed. We'll see you in Scotland.
See you in Scotland. Inverness.
Scotland!
Okay.
Woman.
So tonight's giveaway is going to be a 2-parter. And the prizes are, we're going to give away 2 mugs by the lovely Morag and Charlie Farley.
Morag,
They-
you beautiful woman.
Look at those photos. Morag took amazing pictures of us at Winter's End. They've put them on mugs, and 2 lucky winners. We're going to separate them because we got a pretty cool question this week as well. So you win these tonight, basically.
Yeah, so it's the first people to send over the correct answer. And this is the first question. As people have come to see us now, we do Blink of an Eye slightly different. There's a sort of piano version. Where was the first time the Crows did the piano version of Blink of an Eye? Where?
Where?
Just write down where
Where?
in the comments. And the first person to say the correct answer will win 1 mug. Look at that. Which one? The left one or the right one?
One mark. One mark.
Oh, this
And
JD's good, isn't it?
the second question.
Had a bit of ice in my mouth then.
Sorry, bud.
The second question to win the second mug. I'm going to read out a line of one of our songs. The first person to correctly type in the line that follows wins the second mug. I'm not telling you what song. I'm just going to say a line. You have to type in the following line. As it rots away and plagues your mind. What is the line that follows that in a song? Comment now. You got a chance. Do it now. 2 mugs.
Do it. Do it now.
Do it.
Do it now.
We will reveal the answers after we are joined by the amazing Chris Clancy, who is coming up very, very shortly. But before then, it is that time, David.
What time?
Your time.
Did you know? Did you know? What's the
My
matter?
facts are bollocks. B-O-L-O-L-O-X. My facts are bollocks. B-O-L-O-L. That's not even bollocks, is it? Don't even spell it like that.
It was good, man. That was with you.
Bit of a different one this week, guys. You get a multiple choice. What fact would you like? So I got a fact about COVID-19, or I've got a fact about planets, or I got a fact about the song I just sang. What would you like?
Oh, the song you sung, Dave.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
It's got to be
Dave's
Stephen.
like, oh, pick another one.
No, that's fine if you want to do that one. Right, interesting. I just
Oh, he's
disappeared.
gone.
That's
Oh,
too
he's
yeah.
back.
So everyone knows that song is Gwen Stefani. Shit, what was the name of the song? Holla Back Girl. That song was written as about Courtney Love.
That's right.
As a like a retaliating apparently from something that Courtney Love had said. So
Spit it out.
interesting, isn't it? That's
Well
the
done,
worst
well
fact
done.
ever. Nice one, Shine. You ruined it.
David, you've got to pick a different one. That was terrible. Pick
That
another
was
one,
a
bro.
terrible one. Come on. We'll
All
give
right,
you
then.
2
Let's
this week.
All right, then. We'll do the planets then, shall we?
Yes. Come
Yes.
on, Dave.
Did
This is
you
it.
know that it rains diamonds on Saturn and Jupiter?
That's blown my mind.
I
No,
didn't know that.
you wouldn't want to be caught in that shower storm, would you?
That is a true fact from Dave.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Apparently methane. It rains methane, and that turns to I think it's like carbon and the carbon under the pressure because all diamond is a compressed carbon, and it compresses and compresses, and by the time it gets towards the surface, it turns to diamonds, and then it just because they're gaseous planets, it goes towards the center of and it turns back to whatever the friggin' hell. But yeah, so
What
yeah,
planets
it
are?
rains. Saturn and Jupiter.
Pop up and have a look, should we?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's
if you
because
go
of the
there,
methane. The thing is, I think it might be another planet as well, but yeah, it's because of the methane that is apparently. So when everyone is complaining, the most metal planet, Moo says. So yeah, it's a good fact, isn't it?
Very
well done,
cool.
Dave.
Yeah, I like that. That's a better one now. Was the Peppers one had me last week? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I know.
So I love that. I genuinely love that.
Yeah.
Can we have one more question? And then we're going to say ta-ra to Shiner and get joined by the incredible Chris Clancy.
Right then. This is from Jane Ginge. Iron Maiden and Motorhead have their own beer. if you had a drink, what would it be called?
Collectively or individually?
Nasty fucker.
Yeah, we were talking about this before when we branching out now. So if there's anybody who owns a brewery who wants to get in contact and do something, do a nice skit with us, we got some ideas. What was it? Devil in My Pocket? Was that the whiskey?
Devil in My Pocket whiskey.
Or was that the fighter was a cider, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't give a damn.
To be honest, as long as it's a whiskey, I'm happy.
Yeah, when it was definitely Devil in My Pocket. It was like a whiskey, a certain whiskey, and then I think we had the fighter as like the fighter was the cider
Stella, like that's like the Stella version.
That was our like wife beater, you know what I mean, with the vest on and all that. That's what I mean.
I fancy a crow cognac as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, now we're talking. Keep it smooth.
Oh, very sophisticated, my friend.
Yeah.
Sophisticated.
Yeah.
I like that.
Do you know an interesting fact about cognac? It's actually brandy. It's actually brandy, but it's got to come from the cognac region. So it's just a brandy.
Yeah, but it's correct about that one too.
Yeah,
you've had 3 this week.
But it begins.
I can have 3 weeks off now.
I'll have a week off next weekend.
Everyone's like,
at this point, I'm going to do Shiner. Thank you for the question as well. That's amazing. At this point, I'm going to do Shiner a favor because I can see his eyeballs burning. Shiner, it's one line of Shiner, son. What would you like to say to everybody this week, mate, before you go?
Right. I got a challenge this week for everyone. I want you all to go and make donuts and then show us photos next week.
No, fair play. Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Ooh. Well, that before you go, Shine, before you bail out, that's not a liner, but that's a really good that's a good challenge. And that actually is a good segue to our idea for next week, isn't it, Shane?
Is it, Ron?
It is, Shane. It's what we talked about just before we came online.
It was what we talked about before I started drinking Jack Daniels. Please
excellent.
Remind me.
Right. What we talked about was next week, you're the guest. So every week we can see there's amazing comments. We can see them all coming up now there. It's absolutely amazing. We want to interact with as many people as possible. So next week, it's you lot. You are all the guests, and we're going to speak to the admins on the fan page. They can get some questions for us as well. We're going to look through some of the questions from all the previous CrowCasts. And then if you do what Shiner just said, which is pretty cool, if anybody wants to have an attempt at making donuts, put them on the fan page. Is that cool?
Yeah,
because we're going to be looking at that all week, I would say. Put them on the fan page.
On there, yeah.
And I'll try and collect some of the photos off the admins and we'll put them on next week's show. That's a cool idea, Shine.
Tidy.
Awesome.
Well, Shine.
Not the donuts you do in a car now, right? The ones you make.
Actually, that would be well cool.
I'm not joking. Today, I was driving back home from going to the shop and I drove past a car in a car park and it was and this was an elderly bloke. It was a Nissan Micra and he was just going round and round and round, literally round.
Wasn't Shiny's dad?
No, because I was shining on the phone. I said, I'm quite concerned. Was
he doing
just driving around. You're going around 10 times. I was just like, are you all right?
Where was this, by the way? Nanty Moyle?
Oh, Bridgend.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say nothing would surprise me in Nanty Moyle, but
right, China boy, take it easy, my friend. Oh,
there we go.
There we go. Should we bring in a guest?
Oh, go on, man. I'm speaking to Chris.
Yes, I've been busting to speak this man too. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Clancy. There he is.
Hey, what's
up?
Hey.
Live from the living room.
What's happening, man?
I've got to do it before I forget, right? You guys need to do a port called Port of No Return. And it's just
it's done. Yeah, I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down.
Yes.
If I'd forgotten that, I feel my life would have been over.
What we'll do, Chris, we'll add that to the collection of spirits, and we'll send the royalties to Andy Sneap.
Yeah, might as well. I noticed I spelled my name. Me and Ronnie earlier on, we did a bit of a call just to make sure everything was working. And I logged in as Andy Sneap, and he was just like,
"How's it going, man?"
Yeah, it's good. just
Oh,
it's
man.
just quiet, isn't it? You know, like nothing's happening. Everyone's just at home.
Yeah,
Like, there's no
no.
cars on the streets.
Yeah,
How about
that's
you
kinda
guys?
weird, isn't it? So what was the last thing you did? It was the wagons, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the wagons. We came home, and then that was it. My life just stopped. So that was the end of it. Really.
Absolutely.
So
How's the family keeping, dude? How's your little one?
yeah, she's good. She's growing. She's walking. Well, she's not walking. She's standing, but she's crawling.
Right.
She's getting fast at crawling now. So
Yeah.
you know, you sort of leave her there and think, right, I've got 20 seconds to go and grab something, and you turn around, she's just there. It's like, how have you got there so fast? So yeah, there's not a minute. Like, you know, everyone warns you about it. You're like, she lies down. Oh, I can't wait until she starts crawling. You say, well, you say that now, but you wait, and I'm there now. I understand. I do. It's just the levels in it. You kind of think like you get to this point, you think, right, I've got control of the situation. There's parenting, I've got it down, and then it just there's another
Bar
stage,
raises.
you know, like when you think that oh, she's sleeping through the night, it's all good. No, stop.
No.
Well, yeah, we're not.
It's a false sense of security, innit? Yeah.
It is. They're just waiting until you've got into that point, thinking, right, I've got it.
Yep.
And when, as soon as you get comfortable, that's it. Everything flips.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. So the most exciting thing that's happened with me recently is I cut my own hair today.
Whoa.
yeah.
I noticed you done something online earlier. You put something on Facebook.
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to on this, and I thought I'm going to have to wear a hat because it looked like a tennis ball, you know, and it's just like. I was like, I can't
the white lines, like.
yeah, and I've got like because I've been running, I've got like a tan line across my head here where I go in the sweatband. So yeah, I'm gonna have to,
How's the running going, man? Is it going good?
yeah, it's good. I want to do an ultra marathon at the end of the year. If this goes good.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm
amazing.
started training. I've hired a coach. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
so I've started on that really. So fingers crossed.
Wow.
What is an ultra
Oh,
marathon?
cool.
What's the difference between a
50
marathon and an
miles?
ultra
An
marathon?
ultra marathon is like a longer marathon. So whereas a marathon's like 26 miles, an ultra is like anything beyond that. So they do like 30, it's like 50 kilometers or 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles, 240 miles, stuff like crazy stuff. I mean, I'm not doing that, but I want to try and do 50 miles. So that's going to be.
Yeah, that'll be a
Sounds
that'll
good.
be an hell of a feat if you can do
Fair
that.
But
play to
you guys were there actually when because I didn't run, did I? It was only when I was at the studio and I was just like, I need
Yeah, I
to.
remember. Yeah, remember
Yeah.
going for it.
Runs
it
in,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't stopped. It's like Forrest Gump.
It's good for the soul, man.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. I feel great for it, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say you've lost a bit of weight, dude.
Yeah, I've lost like 2 stone.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, 2 stone.
lost
I
the
think
weight.
I
and
put
you
that
got
2 stone on.
longer hair.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, I'm trying to make up for it, like wet hair, just to try and make myself feel better. Like my arms have all disappeared, everything's gone. But I'm gonna slowly transform into Forrest Gump and like end up with a beard like this.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are you breakfast? Is it avocado and poached eggs or?
I've gone vegan now as well, just to throw something else in the boat.
What?
I know. It's about 6 months now, I think. I'm loving it.
Mm.
Wow, man.
But, yeah, I should have worn my I'm vegan t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, right in
Do
your face.
you find it like a challenge or is it just easy?
No,
I
it's
think-
easy.
I think now it's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was at Andy's. It was at Sneeps. I watched that. It was the Netflix thing. Have you guys seen that?
Oh, was it
Yeah.
what's it called?
Yeah, it's like a competitive thing.
He was the MMA fighter, wasn't he?
Yeah, all that stuff. I
Yeah, I
just
watched
watched
that,
it, and I
yeah.
thought, someone said, "Oh, you got to watch it," so I watched it, and then I just came out of it. And I had loads of like eggs and cheese and stuff in the house, and I was just like, "Oh, I just don't really want to eat anymore," so I didn't. So yeah,
It's good on you, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
so look at you guys are like, you look dead professional, like like Ronnie and
Oh.
Shane. You got like the studio set up in the background and everything like that, and
It's
I'm
all,
just
they're like the
sitting
old man on the couch, like.
it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
So smoke and mirrors, but you know what it's
Exactly.
like.
It's all perception.
Yeah, I set up my studio upstairs. I was like, "Oh, this will look cool" and everything like that. And I just realized my daughter's asleep in the next room. I was like,
Ah,
"I can't
right.
risk it.
Yeah.
I can't risk it."
Exactly. It's like when they go to sleep, it's like, look at them go to sleep. And then they move, you're like, don't wake up, don't wake up.
Yeah, don't move. Yeah. You just stop breathing, don't you? You're going blue. Like,
Exactly.
yeah. We always get to sleep on the
You
couch.
in regular contact with Colin at the minute, or
Yeah, I didn't speak to him for quite a while. I mean, we spent 2 months together doing the wagons and stuff.
yeah,
So
time for
yeah.
a break? Isn't it?
we kind of know what we've been up to because we've been there. So I called him yesterday, I think, on the phone for like an hour, having a bit of a catch up and stuff.
How's
So
he getting on with all this sort of stuff? Is he good?
Oh, well, I mean, the shower gel stocks are still good, so I think he's all right. The restaurants are out the window, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that's-
TripAdvisor's all right then.
yeah, holidays. Yeah, exactly. TripAdvisor's on hold. So I'm sure Colin's got a bit of a checklist of places he wants to go, though. So as soon as it opens, we'll be taking him. But
Moose,
yeah,
Moose says looking good, bro. Moose says looking good.
yeah. Moose. I've not seen him in ages. What's he doing?
He's doing all right as far as I know.
That's the thing. You don't realize it's weeks and weeks past, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? So this is like episode 6 for us. So it's 6 weeks of a bit of a routine, if that makes sense. At least we know every Tuesday we're coming online together, and but that's mad. When we start getting into double figures, it's a bit crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys got loads like guests lined up for quite a lot of episodes. You kind of going week to week.
Yeah, we have. But we're going to have a break from it from next week because we're going to get all the Crow fans to jump on board, make it about them next week. And then we start again in with guests and stuff. But hey, here's a question, Chris. You know when we did the album? Be honest. When you heard the demos, what did you think?
I think when you first hear demos, it's easy to pick things apart more than you maybe need to. You know what I mean? Because like they're not as polished and they're not like finished. You can kind of maybe pick more holes than need to. So I remember like initially I made a load of notes on things that we might want to change here and there. But I think once we got in like the rehearsal room and you guys started playing stuff, it always sounds dead cheesy, but like there's more of an energy to everything. So therefore the notes just start. No, we don't need that anymore. We don't need that. Don't need that. So I think I overthought it. Like I do everything in life really. But I mean, I think the thing that surprised me and Colin as well was some of the stronger tracks on the album we felt at the end were maybe some that we'd overlooked at the start. I think they just kind of developed, you know. And it was like at times with guitars and stuff, like this little overdub here, like, and especially Shane when you were doing your harmonies and stuff, a lot of that brought things to life. And you know, like the drumming, everything, drumming, bass, like everything just kind of came together and like it became greater than the sum of its parts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was always a great album there. It was just, it's like you always want to make it the best you possibly can, so you just tear everything apart. And yeah, I don't know, really. I think it came out amazing, considering, you know, like we went into it overthinking the thing, really.
When you hear the demos, though, like obviously it's worlds apart from the end product, so to speak. But like when you heard them, was it a case of, oh, I know what to do with this, or was it a case of, as you said, it was only until we got in our room and we jammed it out in Judas Priest's jam room?
Yeah.
Was it only then that they came to life, or did you hear something in the tunes and thought, wow, that I can hear something there, we could do this here, or was it just wait and see? They got the potential, but let's just jam it out in the room first. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's like you hear the potential in it, and as like being in the producer role, you don't want to screw it up.
Yeah,
you know, like, and I think it's as well because I mean that was only the second album that I've ever produced that's not my own.
Yeah,
obviously doing it with Colin, but I think there's a tendency of it's setting yourself aside, so you don't do what you would do in every situation. It's what's best for the band, not what you would do. So when I initially made notes on things, with Never Win, for example, I had all sorts of arrangement changes on it. And it was Colin who said, "Oh, we got to leave it as it is." And Andy heard it and said, "Oh no, you should leave it like this, and not put drums in early and all this other stuff." And it just worked out great, like as it came together again, like you say. So it was playing it in the room, which brought the potential to life from the demos. I think demos can sound a bit stale sometimes because it is only a demo, and it's when you get the characters on there. You know, it's almost the same. Like if you program everything, you know, you program drums, it's never quite got that same feeling. And when you do a demo, you just played it in the rehearsal room, you buzz in from that and you go in and play it. I think it brings in a certain energy and stamp, and it kind of comes across, especially like Never Win. I mean, you know, we didn't record a whole lot with Never Win. You brought that in, but I think over the time, the song made more sense to me as I got to know you. And I listened to the lyrics and read the lyrics more, and then it just worked brilliantly. It just kind of conveyed that message, you know. I always remember with that song as well. I mean, it's a bit of a side note, but I just remember standing like, and this has rarely happened to me with music. I remember listening to that, and it was the first line of the song. If the stars all align in the was it the
Clear
midnight
Night Sky, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I remember standing there as you played it, and like I was looking out the window, and like I proper welled up, and I was like, I got it, and I was like, wow. And that to me still is one of the best lyrics I've ever heard in my life. That like
Wow.
the whole song, but that setting the scene for a song, like what a descriptive emotive thing to start with. It was just like brilliant. But yeah, I think it's things moments like that when you relate to the music yourself. You know, you get in like. You understand it, and then therefore you can make better decisions. I think.
I love that about you, dude. We picked that up about you really early on. It's because you can have an idea, but it's not until you're in the room with those people, and then those ideas go out the window. And I could see you coming up with ideas, and it made us come up with new ideas. So your ideas would spark new ideas. Yeah. And that was the beauty of this album for me. Was like. There was never a bad idea. It was just, can it be better? And do you know what I mean? And that was like, we've never been in that position before, I don't think. So you'd say something, it'd spark us off, then we'd say something, and someone else would say something. It was just always got better. It was never a point of like, no, that doesn't work. It was
brilliant. I remember there was one song where we had this idea of let's do this Thin Lizzy thing, and I had this idea in my head, and I was like, I just kind of need to get it out. Yeah. I picked up a guitar and started recording these ideas, and I was like, and it kind of just didn't work for you guys with what I was doing. But then suddenly you just came in like a few hours later on, but like you'd done your own complete thing.
No, that was the chorus was set in stone.
Yeah, I think it was set in stone. There was like there was like a
thin chorus, because
you
and Colin like
evolved into something,
But you and Colin went out for a meal.
A bottle of wine. Yeah, those meals are great though. I mean, like that's a really good thing. I mean, it's nice to get out the environment. But me and Colin, like we go out, we clear our heads and stuff, but we talk about loads of stuff. And like sometimes you can have a great idea in the middle of like a bowl of pasta. You know what I mean?
Hey, I got to shout Colin for this, man, because I think it was the first night we came up on it. He took us all for dinner, man. He paid for it, and he did that again during the session, just like completely selfless. So thank you, Colin.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Has to be the most like person I've ever met in my life. Like definitely, you know, like the way he's like taking me under his wing, and like as a musician, and be like, come on, let's co-produce something. It's like, you know, it's crazy for me. You know, I thought 10, 15 years ago, like even like, you know, like even now, but years ago, Colin was like someone I really looked up to massively as a mixer. He was like my favorite mixer. I'd always go on about, Colin's done this and Colin's done that. So for me to be working with him now is pretty nuts, you know.
But that speaks volumes for you, bro. Do you know what I mean? You know, we could have worked with anybody.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's it's pretty nuts.
What do you think? Like, what do you think you've learned from him in the last couple of years? Like, just sort of like, you know, on the surface sort of thing, just to like in a nutshell, you know, like what do you think you've learned from him? Like the most important things.
The most important thing I've learned from him is to try and not be so erratic. Like I can be really chaotic, and I think it's because, you know, the creative side of you, and like I'm sure you guys all get it. Like you'll have an idea for something, you get so hyped up about it, and you're like, you can't do that. You've just got to kind of and slow down. You know, I always try and do everything 100 miles an hour, and Colin's like, just take your time. And like he's really brought like a more peaceful side of me out, which is, you know, necessary.
It is, yeah.
I'll never forget with Colin in the studio, we'd have something nailed, and I'm buzzing off it, whether it be a guitar part, a guitar sound, or something, a bass sound even. And then all of a sudden he'll go, Chris, I want to try something. Yeah. And then like, hang on, no, this sounds great. Don't mess with that. That's how I felt. I was like, this is.
Yeah, I'd be sat there like tearing my hair out. No.
I watched him, man. I watched the walls come down one day. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, don't adjust the settings, please. This is exactly how I saw it in my mind. And then 5 minutes later, he does something. You're like, oh my god, that's just blown what I had in my head out of the water. And that was, he used to do that regularly. Do you know what I mean? He was
He made me laugh when he was ripping my pedal board apart. And he took my dark glass preamp out and it was velcroed in. I said, just pull it. And he looked at me and went, and all the entire like sticker come off the back, all the velcro come back, and he went, oops.
Oops.
He's brilliant, man.
Yeah, don't let him leave.
He's amazing.
I think that's kind
He's so much fun to be around. Good energy, man.
In a nutshell, though, isn't it? With Colin, that like he'll do something, and where everyone else would be like, "Oh, this is perfect," Colin's just got another level. So you'll be like, "Oh, I'm happy with that. That's exactly how I want it." And Colin's like, "Well, what if we can get it better?"
Yeah.
And, like you've just got to trust him, and like he does it. So yeah, I'm massively admire about him. If there's one thing I'd love to learn from it, it'd be that. But like, I don't know, I'm too nervous. Like you saying with it, you get the perfect amp settings, and I don't want to just go like and just see what happens. It might never sound the same again.
I think if you got to write everything down and take photos of every set in mind, just in case.
Nervous though, because they'd be like, "Well, what if it just doesn't sound the same anyway?"
yeah. I know that's what we were doing after every day, when we like quickly take a photo of the set and I think it was the Billy Sheehan pedal we used, wasn't it?
Yeah, otherwise it would have morphed. Like eventually, it would have been like, everything's just maxed out on day 11.
Yeah,
wondering why it sounded different. Like
it's when he hovers over the console and you're controlling it. And he's behind it and he goes, "Oh, just give him a bit more bass, Chris. Give him a bit more bass." I gotta look after my Lloyd.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I always remember that. Look after my Lloyd, max it out.
Here he is. Look.
There he is.
My hair is there as well. Look at that.
Yeah.
Playing air guitar as well. Look, there he is.
Yeah.
Do you have the time?
Oh man, that was the funniest thing.
The extra 2 stone on me as well.
That is mad, isn't it? There's the before and after. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
There's my guitar in the background there, the old Les Paul.
So looking back at the whole recording process with Point No Return, like, is there anything you would have done differently, or were you happy how it went, or?
I think if I'd done anything differently, I would just wish we had more time. I've always been like, I felt like, I don't say we rushed, but I felt we had to get through things a little quicker than, this is where I get my like madness from, when I'm like, go, 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 go. I'd like to finish with more time left, just in case. And to an extent, we if there's something in there, we can kind of fill it. Whereas we ended up sort of finishing with like, right, well, it's the last day, we've got to get this done.
Yeah.
I don't think we really rushed anything, but I think it would have been a little bit more chilled out, and I probably would have slept more had we had another like week. You know what I mean? So yeah, but
man.
What I'll say about that
as well, we'd never worked at Andy's studio before, so that was a huge thing. There's a lot of different learning, and wherever you work, you can set up a drum kit and put the mics on well, but it's a different environment. Things are going to be different in another studio. You've got to learn it. So I feel now we know it a lot better. So I think that'll be a little quicker. But
I kind of came out with us the sessions, and the boys will back me up on this. Before I went in, I absolutely hated the recording session, didn't I, boys? You back me up on it. I was just like, I find it stressful. I just don't feel like I can ever do what I'm capable of doing. It just doesn't seem to translate for me and all the rest of it. But what was I like coming out of the session? I was like, I loved that. That was like the best experience ever. I felt like I did the best. And that's testament to you as a producer. I did the, you brought the best out of me. I did the best I could do. I was just like, I love it now. I'm just like, I can't wait to go in and record another album now because, and it's down to you and Colin, for like making me have that experience with it,
That's brilliant.
Whether that was intentional or not, it was just the way you guys work, and
it is sort of intentional, I guess. Like as a producer, you always want to get the best out of everyone, and everyone's different. And I guess there's always some kind of like psychology behind all of it, where you see someone and someone's going to need something different than Shane's going to want to hear something different than you're going to want to hear, and he's trying to almost figure that out, but not in a manipulative way. You want to bring the best performance out of anyone, and having been a musician myself and been thrown into a vocal booth with a mic and said, "Right, just go." Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And with even guitar, like I think you just needed time just to sit there and not feel rushed particularly, and just be like, "Oh, you got," and Colin's great at that. You've got all the time in the world with Colin, so I think
I really enjoyed having the freedom to do stuff on the fly. I think
Mhm.
that was, I think, I don't know if like I'm tooting my own horn here, but I think I quite I've always worked that way, stuff on the fly, and I quite enjoy doing it that way.
It was lovely seeing you so like relaxed and
And
it felt
having
relaxed the
fun,
entire way. I
dude.
didn't feel stressed at all. I didn't feel
Yeah.
You were
stressed.
having fun. You were able to have a laugh, and
Yeah.
it was
There was no
good to
pressure. I
see.
didn't feel stressed. It was just like, let's go and do some bits, and that's how I felt. It was amazing.
And you gotta remember, dude, that this was like the first. I don't want to sound thing here, but this was you come in to the CROWS and Murder was already being recorded.
Yeah.
So
it's
this
kind
was
of
your first
halfway,
album
first
for you to put,
full
and get into, and I think you've done an amazing job, Dave.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough
I
about me.
mean, Colin was singing praises. Like, I mean, you did a great job. I know, like Shiner was like more going into it. Like, we understood like more sort of the dominant guitarist and everything like that. He's been in the group longer and everything. And I think you sort of got that little window to do your own thing with it, which maybe you've not had before. There was freedom on songs with like, right, there's a blank space there. Do what you want, and you just did, and just put pick slides everywhere.
I did indeed. Yeah, it was a pick slide master.
I remember turning around at one point, like when you were playing, we're trying to get this part really tight, and Dave, I'm going to have to pan out, and Dave was there in the corner going. Like that. And Colin
That's it. That's
like,
it, man. That's what I was enjoying myself. I was just like, and when I said to Colin when we played he came to watch us in Manchester in the Rebellion, and I was like, you can tell how much I'm enjoying myself. I start pick sliding and doing slides and stuff because I'm just in it, like
Yeah.
So that's what that was about.
Yeah, and I think part of it though as well is when you're in a band, like I don't think like with producers you can take all the credit for it. I think it's just like you've got their environment and his studio there, and you live in there, you're living and breathing there. I think that's part of it. I think if you you guys are all sort of Bridgend area, if you go to a local studio and you just turn up and go home, it's not quite the same. I think there's like a almost you get that kind of lads club.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's almost a sense of like escapism from your normal environment. I find it's like you go away to do a job. Go on, man.
Yeah, I found when we've done other records, probably we've all done it before. You like for a drummer, you're drumming along to like a backing track, even though it's your band, but you're drumming along to the demos, or there's just no energy there. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's one thing off this record that was created was the energy. Like, when, like Shane said, we went into that Judas Priest kind of jam room, and to kind of take that and then go and lay the drums down. And I know it's like a delay for the guitars and that, but it's still there. It still felt right for me personally. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when we leave a practice room and you buzz in, and it's always that expression of, oh my God, is practice over now? Like, and you haven't got that extra hour or 2 hours. We had the time there, but we could leave it once the energy was almost like putting the genie back in a bottle. Like, it was, it was bottled, and then it was almost like you could see sometimes I was leaving the room and I was like the adrenaline, like, do you know what I mean? I was proper pumped, and I've never had that amount of like, I listen to that record every day now, and it can be, it's so fresh. Other records I haven't been able to listen to because I always feel they grow stale on me really quick. It's that it still feels like a demo. Where this one I can still hear all the moments, if that makes sense. I can hear the energy when we did that, or when we decided to change that part, or maybe my kick was doubling up and you said, oh, try like a one kick per there, and then all of a sudden it just like took a song to a different direction from rhythmically. Like, I think that's what early doors, man, the setup was, whether it was a happy accident or it was just
I don't think it was an accident. I just think you were genuinely were buzzed and excited to play. And then obviously Colin and Chris doing what they do. We all felt that.
It's even the thing, Shane, of like, even when Colin and Chris had me up 2 days before you boys, it was almost like, it was weird. It almost built the energy for me, if that made sense. It was almost like you miss your band, which is something I've never had on any recording, if that makes sense. You can't wait for your band to turn up. And I know Moose is listening to this and stuff. He's probably had that process where you've turned up maybe a couple of days and just done drums. And then you're like, I need to jam with my band now. I need to I need that vibe. And then like when we all got together, it's the excitement of you running around together and you get that second wind of everybody looking at everything new and you're like, oh, the boys are here, aren't they? The boys are here. And I think you and Colin seen that happening firsthand of, you know what I mean? It was really cool. I think your whole approach on that record was, it was fun. Like you said with Dave, you created an experience for him, for Shane, for Lloyd and Shiner. And I felt like it was going as simple as it sounds, like going to a jam camp. I'm very much, Shane knows that, you can bring in the competitiveness of, I love sitting down with somebody and like if somebody said, right, you boys now sit in a room and you have to come up with a song, that's your challenge. It becomes like a competition, a vibe, do you know what I mean? And it felt like that. It was almost, we had to leave with something special. You left it all there, if that made sense. So I kind of relished on it. I think that's how you did great as well, Dave, because you're very spontaneous. So you were coming up with, like you said, stuff off the fly rather than going in and you've played that song 50,000 times before you've even recorded it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's almost over demoed or demoitis, you call it, don't you, Shane?
Yeah. It's the word. Because it's very difficult to break your mind from what you've already put down. It's dangerous. And what I love about Chris is, I remember speaking to Chris like early doors. I said to him when he heard the demos, I said, how many times have you heard the demos? Oh, once or twice. Because he didn't want to get bogged down with what he's heard. Yeah. He's looking at what we can change. What, you know what I mean? And I think that's very important. You got to be ready for new ideas, something fresh on any given day. And it can spark a new path, a new route. And that's what I've taken from this album, was that the minute you allow yourself to not get bogged down, you won't believe that the avenues that could open, you know, from whether it be from Lloyd, Dave, you, but then Chris and Colin had their ideas as well. And it just opened so many doors.
I think that's the thing, like we were saying before about Colin and like guitar tones, for example, you never know what's around the corner. And the worst case scenario, and it's not a worst case, but you can take 5 steps forward and be like, no, it was great when we started. At least you know it's great because you've tried other things, you know. But I think the studio environment, like, I think we're just really, really lucky to have Andy let us use the studio. That was a huge thing because so many studios don't have a live setup, so you can't just play. And you know, I always wish like I could have done that as a musician myself. You know, like when Ronnie, you were talking, like I love your passion with music. I remember like day one you were talking about drums, and you know, you get very visibly like excited, and you can see like the energy you've got for it, and it's you know, you pick up on it. It's infectious. It's a great thing to have, you know, as a guy in a band, because sometimes you can have people that like I'm quite serious with things, and like when you get so infectious with it, like it lifts me up and I get pumped, you know what I mean? And I think if you're not in an environment where you can play live and play as a band, you're going to miss that, because at the end of the day, when you're playing drums, it's music, but it's not music to me, you know. Like when you're playing with a band and you're doing the whole thing, you get that buzz and that energy. And I think that's the biggest thing I miss about being like when I was in bands, like even in rehearsals, you know, when you go in a rehearsal, you think, oh, voice is a bit tired today, I was out on the piss last night, and you think, oh, I'll take it easy, and you start singing and you end up just hammering it, and you think, oh, throwing a few high notes there and everything, you come out of the thing, your voice is destroyed, and you're like, why have I done it? You just can't yourself. You just love it, you know. And like, I think he's capturing that point on a record is like a hard thing to do, but I think it's really important to do. And like you were saying before about the demos as well, the demoitis is, I think that's the biggest pitfall that most bands fall into. They'll write something and that's it. That's what goes on the album.
Yeah.
There's no change of it, and it happens to everyone. I think was it? I don't know if you guys know this, but if you hear a song on the radio and you don't like it, if you listen to it 10 times, I think it is, then you like it.
That's right. Yeah, there's like a psychology behind it, isn't it? And then like that's why pop music's so popular, isn't it? I think, right?
Yeah, they basically pay the radio to play a song over and over again, so you get overexposed to it. Therefore, you get an attachment to it. You like it. But I think when you like when I listen to the demos, like you've only got a certain amount of time to listen to something before you don't know whether it's any good or not. And we had this with the Wagons. We just did the Massive Wagons album, me and Colin, and we had it where I wanted to change a chorus, completely rewrite the vocals on a chorus. So I rewrote roughly what I would do. And Baz is what he was going to do, and then he sung both of them, and me and Colin couldn't pick because I liked the new one, but I'd written it, so it was unfair of me to stand behind my own idea. And Colin liked the old one, so we got Andy in. And Andy came in as the third person, and said, "Oh, this one's better," straight away because it's the first time he's heard it, like definite. But you get too far down and you're screwed. You've got to make that split second decision at the start of it and just go with it.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate working with you guys that you were open minded. I think at the start, like, it's hard to get to that point because you don't know me from anyone. So if I suggest changing the song that you love, you're naturally going to be resistant to it as open as you are. But I think, over the course of a few weeks, it's slowly sort of like, it becomes part of a process and you're like, okay, I get it now,
Yeah,
I think for us though, it's genuinely now, I've never been in a band where song, we've always said it, boys, haven't we, from day one, song is paramount, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who comes up with what, it really don't matter. So when somebody comes up, you can put an idea on the table. It's on the table. It's that unless somebody makes it better.
Better.
Whether it be one of us in the band or a producer. So we were never walking into that studio thinking this is how it's going to be. We had the foundations of it, absolutely. And it was a great start. It was better than, you got average starts. I think it was better than average. That's me personally. I think we were in a good place. But when we work with the likes of you and Colin and Andy, it's obviously going to be better. And I just knew we would thrive because, as we've talked about before, that glass ceiling of what we can and can't do as a rock band, that was gone. And you guys were just like, let's try this. And that's why Dave thrived. Ronnie's energy on the drums, that's why he did. Lloyd had the best.
It's the best. I think that's the best I've ever played.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I
love
literally
that pick up the bass and be like, all right, we'll get this part down. But we've got like so many days for bass, and Lloyd just like nailed it in like 2.5 or something. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just another day of the office.
Yeah,
No, man, it was just fun. Just fun. And I always remember like Colin, and he turned to you and go, "Yeah, I think we got the take, Chris." And I just remember looking at Colin and going, "I'll do it better." Oh, we don't need to. I was like, "Watch this," and I've done it. But I don't think without having that, like the team around us, like yourselves and Colin, even Andy. I mean, there was a part on Hey Man at the end where we had 3 different ideas, and Andy came in and said that one. So I watched him. I thought he's not walking out. So I thought, right.
Yeah.
And then Colin went, nailed it. I was like, fucking have to ease in here.
yeah. Once you get
easing,
I looking like you can't.
Yeah.
It's that fresh use thing again, like what Chris said, because we've all been there in a practice room, even Chris has with previous bands, where, like you said earlier, Chris, you have an idea, and I've been almost sporadic, where you're trying to fucking get it out before somebody else jumps in and wants to develop it because you haven't finished getting your idea out. And then if somebody else has chirped in and your idea starts to change, you're almost trying to fight to get it back where it was. So it's nice to kind of like, you get all the ideas on the table, and then somebody outside of the band goes, actually, have you ever tried this? And takes it completely fucking somewhere that we wouldn't have thought, like, you know what I mean? Because how many times have we been in a room and you just can't fix on a chorus or something because so many people are trying to get it on the table. And it's just a case of your head's in a fucking washing machine because you can't think, because maybe like the boys are playing with the guitars, or I'm twinkling with the drums, or Shane's doing something on a guitar, or Lloyd's playing the bass. There's just so much going on in a room. You can't actually then a thin breeze. So when somebody actually has that light bulb moment, they're like, right, I've got an idea. And as they're halfway through it, someone goes, yeah, and then what if we do this? And then you're like, fucking hang on. hang on a minute. Like, do you know what I mean? It's
I think that's the beauty about demoing things, though, isn't it? It's like you can put it together and be like, look, here's my finished idea. This is the best I can make it. Yeah. Now you guys tear it apart and just make it better. But like you say, like you're trying to develop an idea and everyone jumps in, it just turns into a mess. It just gets really frustrating. Everyone's just stood there tearing their hair out trying to say something. But
it does actually, because that's what we've noticed. It's like when I think sometimes it's best if I'm 1 or 2 heads on something, progress an idea, bring it to the table for all the boys, then we all pick it apart, as opposed to 5 heads in a room on the second part. It is just murder. It is.
You can't. You need to hear yourself think, man.
Yeah, exactly. But
It's like walking to the car shop in it where everyone's just there trying to play Eruption.
Yeah.
No stairway.
Stairway denied.
2 questions I got for you, Chris. What is the thinking of Point of No Return? What is the part where you're kind of proud of the most, whether it be a song or a part or something you have sort of put to it? And what is your favorite track on the album? Ooh, right in the spot there, son.
Oh,
I should have texted you that before you come
yeah,
on.
I should have had this earlier, really, shouldn't I? I try not to think back to these things though, because I always used to obsess about things, but I have to let go and move on. You know what I mean? So I got to kind of re-good. I think my favorite track, Still Never Win. It resonates with me. Like you know, I said to you, Shane, I said I think it's one of the best songs I've ever heard. Like writing it, and I know I mean that. Like it is. Like I listen to it, I'm like it sucks me, and I'm like wow. Yeah. I think that's definitely like that song. It's also my proudest as well. Just little bits with that, like you know, the little timpani drums and things like that. Like the way that came together and it worked, and the strings you'd written, and we added a few more little bits and everything that just kind of it kind of backed up what you were singing about, but also gave it more emotion. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it kind of painted the picture. And that's probably my proudest moment because I played it on the final bounce back and I just listened to it. And again, I was stood at the side of, you know, Andy's room. He's got the desk, and I was stood like just round the back a little bit, just looking out the window. And I just looked and like just listened to the whole thing, and it was just like it takes you out of yourself, you know. And I think that's the most powerful thing music can do. So I think that's great because of that. And then I don't know what else really. I mean, there's loads of bits we tinkered around with. Yeah. I mean, there was one song we transposed up that made a huge difference.
Be you.
Yeah, that was one thing. I mean, that was just a random idea. Why don't we just transpose it up? And it just came to life. Apart from the middle section, you're like, oh wow, that's high now.
Yeah, it's a great tune, man. I mean, it came out absolutely great, that song. When I first heard the mix back, I was like, that's a rock. It's going to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but that's like a rock classic. Like it is, you know. Yeah. It's a simple song with an amazing.
Well, Joe Walsh on the guitar, Dave.
Yeah, I said that when I was up in. You were recording the do 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 do. That's the proper Joe Walsh moment.
It is.
That's great. That whole.
Do you remember, Chris, that the solo at the end of that? I had didn't I have like gaffer tape on my fingers and I had to tune the guitar down a couple of steps because my fingers were hurting so much.
Yeah, we tuned it down so it was a bit easy to bend because you were just.
The very last song.
We've gone through so many ideas, haven't we? We kept going through him, like, try this, and it was always Ben's, and he was like,
So I tune the strings down so obviously they're a bit looser and a bit less torsion on them, and I had gaffer tape around the end of my fingers just to take because I was like, oh my god, but it worked, man, it worked.
Yeah, that just reminded me of Shiner, that the amount of times I managed to get him that because I don't know if anyone watching knows that if you're recording guitar, it's something Colin taught me. And when you move your fingers up, it goes.
Yeah, it does that slidey bit.
Yeah, and they're really loud. So the best way he's found to stop them is you get a cup of warm water and just soak your fingers in for like 30 seconds.
Softens them. Yeah.
And you take them out.
He's forever in.
And it stops like it just softens your fingers so it doesn't make the noise. Yeah. And I just remember we'd always say that, like, put videos up saying Shiner's fingers are hurting again. He's sat in a cup of water, like, they're not hurting, but we'd cut it off before he said it. Just put it online.
Trying to make himself wee, like.
Yeah, it's just his face. I just remember spinning around on the chair with the camera, and he'd be there with the cup in his hand, and like you'd see the camera come around and be like.
There's a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
What do you mean by transpose the song?
Oh, the whole song in the demo was way lower, wasn't it? It was like a third lower or something, 2 or 3 steps lower. It was quite a bit. And then it was a great melody, but it was so low that Shane's voice didn't kind of sing it. It was just kind of, you know, if you try and sing something too low, it doesn't really come across well. So we said, how about you just transpose it up, which everyone has to like do this chaotic kind of like learn it again. But and it just kind of brightened it up, didn't it? It gave it a nice lift.
It did, yeah.
Ronnie,
Yeah.
can you put that question back up? Or was it gone?
That one, yeah.
Look at the name there. Stretford Sue at
Crowden.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you for the question.
What a name that
Wow,
is.
name.
If that is your real name.
Oh, you idiot.
Just changing it slightly, I'd like to know, obviously, we can always come back to point of no return. What's one of your highlights of actually performing and being in a band, mate?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Is there anything that sticks out there? Anything that sticks out for you? Like any of the bands? Because I don't want to like pick on one band for a lot of people on you know that you've been in multiple bands and you were signed to Roadrunner as well, yeah?
Yeah, Roden before it all got bought out and I got dropped. But yeah, not Bitter Old, no. I don't know, like there's a few things really. I mean, like I remember, like I think the coolest show I ever played was in New York with Korn. We supported Korn, and it just wasn't the type of music that went down well. But there were like 7,000 people there, and I stood on stage. And I'm like, I'm playing with Korn, and like I remember I went backstage afterwards, and they had their own like room set up, each of them. And one of them was like this room, it was a certain color, it had like certain colored lighting and a certain scent on everything. And I remember being obviously in America, I looked and they had some PG tips.
Oh,
China would have been all over that.
And yeah, America's they're not tea drinkers, are they?
No, not. But yeah, I think that it was Jonathan Davis's room had PG tips on there. And I was on tour for 30 days after this. So I just ran in, grabbed the PG tips and we were off.
I like them now, boys. I like them now.
Yeah, he was looking at a good book. But yeah, I think my highlight is probably playing Down Low Festival. I remember I always used to go there as like when I was younger, and I was like, I made this sort of thing to myself. I said, I'm not going to go again unless I play, just because I used to stand there and be like, I want to be up there. It's like,
yeah.
It was like the gig of my life. I just stood up there, and sometimes it's like you as a vocalist, sometimes you just do really well, and other times everyone says you do well, but in your head you're like, oh, I missed this note. But that was like the gig of my life. I loved it, so that was cool. That was with Wearing Scars, that one.
What year was that, dude?
2014, 15, I think.
Yeah, it was 15, I think, wasn't it?
I think so,
was that the first time you played there as well, or?
Yeah, that was the first time I played over here. I mean, I never played a show over here with Mutiny Within. We were supposed to tour with, I think, Killswitch and All That Remains and Soilwork. It would have been an awesome tour, and then it just never happened. So that was the end of the European touring. So I didn't get to tour over here until I toured with Wearing Scars, but that was cool.
Wow, wicked, man.
But I do miss singing a bit. It's always nice being up there, and and you get there where everyone goes.
Yeah, if anyone who doesn't know, go and check out Chris's stuff. He's done. Phenomenal vocalist.
The Oracle's got it right. Pete Williams, Download 2016. It was about
nothing I said.
There goes the Oracle. Hold on, Pete.
Yeah. It's similar to us, mate, because obviously we didn't get to play Download until last year. And it almost felt like, for me personally, I don't know if the boys, it was almost like your life's a movie. If you're ever in a band, it just felt like it was in a movie, and that was like the end of part one. That was almost like the first movie, because when we hit that Download stage, it genuinely felt like somebody had made a dream come true. And that sounds so silly, but it's just been in the back of my mind for so long as a kid. And obviously, like even with the CROWS, there was many years of people promising us to play, and then there was other bands of people promising you to play it. It just become this goal that was it even going to be reachable? Like, do you know what I mean? So I think when you do get to do it, don't matter when, you really appreciate it. Like, do you know what I mean? So
it's definitely like it's like a life achievement thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, playing Download was like a huge tick in the box. That was like an amazing moment.
It is.
And then instantly then you're like super ungrateful and go, right, what are we doing next then?
That's done. It happened to us, didn't it? We played Download the week after. We played on the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Like 50 people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Don't you find that's one of the hardest things to deal with as a band is you'll go from like we did we toured with Monty, and I remember playing Manchester to what was it? I don't know, the Ritz. and it was sold out. It was like 2,500 people. We played there. People turned up and like knew the words to the song, and I was like, I mean, that's crazy like that. I wrote songs in my bedroom in 2012. We formed a band, and then years later on, people are singing it, and I'm like, how has this happened? You know, like crazy moments like that. And then you fast forward 6 months and you're playing a festival that's got a capacity of 2,000 people, but there's only 20 people turned up, and you're like, that's a lot of gravel, you know? Yeah, it is hard to deal with, though. It's very strange, isn't it? You know.
Well, it was bizarre that the boys we went from being on it 3 times to, like Shane said, literally on the back of a lorry, playing in a rugby field to 50 people, and it was still an incredible gig. It was an awesome gig. Like the vibe was
funny as hell.
But
Funny as hell.
But you can't write that, like, do you know what I mean? Where you've gone from that then to and they, even when we turned up, I think a few of them said, "Oh, we didn't even think you'd turn up," or, you know, of course we would, like, you know what I mean? It's the way we do a job. We want to play gigs, so this is where we are, like.
Yeah. It happens all over the place. I remember touring with Soilwork in, I think it was 2009 or 10, and we'd played like shows, like there's about 400 or 500 cap venues, but like most of them were fairly sold out, and we kept going around, and then we ended up in, like, I think it was Portland or something. We turned up and we in this venue, and it was so strange. Like the stage was like the size of like a karaoke venue. It was just small. Like, it was probably about the size of your room, Shane. Like, you can see in the background. Like, and we couldn't even fit on the stage. Like, we had the drum kit there. I had to stand on the dance floor, and I was like, "What's going on?" But it was a great gig. Like, loads of people turned up.
It doesn't matter the size of the venue. We did a gig in Ireland, didn't we, boys? It was
brilliant.
It was brilliant.
And they had their kit set up and all their gear, and we had to, like, put our kit in front of them. Literally, Chris, I had nowhere to go as the vocalist, right? I had Ronnie's cymbal in my ear. It was like,
yeah,
crash.
That's never recovering.
Gigs of the tour. It was incredible. And it just proves, like Lee Evans just put up there, Ron, as you said, Panteg was it, the club. It was a brilliant show, and that was a week after download. And it just doesn't matter the size of the crowd. If it's a good vibe, it's a good vibe. And that's the brilliant thing about being in a band. Like, you know, you can best the best festival, so to speak, as a band. As you said, it tick the box. But next week you could play a tiny little club, and it could be brilliant. That's it. Belfast Voodoo. That's right. It was a bit tight.
That was we were running on empty there when we.
Those gigs, one where you've got the kit in the middle of the stage, and the bass drums at the front, and you can't get to the other side of the stage because the kit comes in the way.
But that gig in particular, Chris, we did a gig. We traveled to the Travel Lodge, and I think we didn't get there till what, 12, whatever it was.
Well, it was Glasgow, wasn't it? So we played Glasgow.
Which then our manager had booked us a hotel room for the night, which I said to him, well, we got to leave at 2 fucking o'clock in the morning. He was like, well, you know, mate, you can freshen up, can't you? And I was like, of course we can for 2 fucking hours, Roy. Come on now, but so we literally did that. We literally got there for 2 hours. Me and the boys said, right, 3 o'clock seemed like a good time to leave or whatever it was. Yeah, wicked, brilliant. Everyone was out that night, fair play. Got to the van. And then we put the sat nav in and didn't realize it was fucking Ultimate Roadworks. So from I'm talking like major roadworks now, because it was fucking hell. So what had become a simple drive of should have been like an hour, when it lied, it was like, we got this sorted. We'll be at the ferry before Storm broke in, and their tour manager, and I think we've done it. Fuck no, it's rallying through in a splitter van in like uncharted territory. As
pitch black, right on a coastal road.
Lloyd's over my shoulder in the van. The sat nav looks like a video game, because all I can see is basically like dark shadows of a cliff edge, with narrow lanes. And he's going sharp right.
Road.
It was incredible. You would have had to have a video camera on. It was like wacky races on whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? It was mad. And the worst thing is, we get to the ferry. It almost felt like smoke coming out the back of the van and everything. We get the ferry, we're like, fuck yes! Storm broke in the 2 vans in front. Fucking did it. We did it, boys. We did it. Wicked. Only for the security to come over and go, sorry, you've missed the ferry. That's it. You're late. And you're like, what the fuck? Because
I
no,
was like,
sorry,
I can see it there.
yeah, we were like,
You
the
can see it
ferry's
there.
still here. You have to be an half hour before. We were like, we are your half hour before, but you've just had to drug search the 2 vans in front,
Yeah.
which means that we're late. Don't worry, you'll have to catch the later ferry.
5 hours in the terminal.
Yeah.
That was hard work. It was.
It was, but it was funny to
It
go and do that gig, like Shane said in Belfast. Like, do you know what I mean? Have you got
Yeah.
any funny
Sure.
stories like that? Anything that sticks out where you're like, "Fucking hell, that was crazy." You almost get to the place and you're like, "Fuck, can I even play?" Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we played a show in Georgia, I think it was, and we literally played as a support band. We played, packed our stuff into the van, and drove. And we drove because we played the next show in Florida, so we drove
All right.
overnight, and we got there, loaded in, and went on stage 30 minutes later on. Like, it was, whoever planned that tour, it was crazy. I think the craziest thing that ever happened to me is we were driving. It was like 2 a.m. Like, it's one of the scariest things. Like, that was so weird. We're driving. It's like 2 a.m. Dead tired, and we're in Texas. And suddenly there's like, they have these little like truck stops where you pull in and, you know, they just like, they weigh stuff and everything like that. It's like a truck weigh station. I should have said that. It would have been easier. Pulled us in,
We
like,
know about that, do we, boys?
and then all these guys in jackets and stuff. And suddenly the door flings open and this massive dog just jumps in and starts sniffing and looking for drugs. And we're like, what the hell? And of course, like we had drugs in the van. Nothing. We just had like a little bit of weed. It was like just, you know, a little stash. But like, oh my god, the dog went crazy. Like, we got pulled in. We're all stood there. And being as a British guy, you know, it's not as weird as American. But being a British guy, the 6 of us or 7 of us stood in a line and just like armed guards with like machine guns stood there. I'm like, what is going on here? And then they take us into this thing and just lock us up. I was like, what's going on? It was the weirdest experience, and I'm sat there thinking, I'm going to get deported, like I'm going to get taken out of the country. Like, it was horrible. That was probably the weirdest thing that happened to me on tour. It was
Wow.
repeated.
How did you get the Mutiny Within job then? How did that come
Oh,
about?
well, this is where the Wales connection comes in. So I used to live in Treforest near Pontypridd.
I used to live there. When did you live there, Chris? I used to live there.
Sure, we've had this conversation, Dave.
We must have had this
2008.
conversation. Reading my memory shit.
Yeah, about 2006, I think it was.
I
But,
graduated. I left that year. I graduated that year.
Whereabouts around there did you live? Though I was on Wood Road, you know, the main road.
yeah.
The main
I
street.
lived on. There was a pub called I don't know if it was open maybe in 2006. The pub.
The Artley.
The Green. Something or other. It was
Green
Stowe
Rooms?
Hill. It was Stowe Hill.
Green rooms.
And then I lived down where like now where the Ottoman or whatever you called it.
Otley.
Otley, sorry, yeah, a little bit down from there. Where now I think there's like a Domino's pizza and a little Tesco's or something like that.
That's moving up in the world.
Yeah,
It's
so,
moving up in the world.
yeah.
Yeah, so I live around there, and I was in a band called Within 10. It had Benji's son, you know, Skindred. It was Benji's son, Barrington, was kind of in the band. It was kind of this rap kind of Pantera thing, and anyway, he left, and I joined that band, and I was doing stuff with that, and we went to Ginger's studio. This guy, Rich Mason, was like, was the guy in the band, and he knew Ginge. So we went down, recorded these vocals, and my drummer, Tom Hall, he's obviously a Welsh guy.
Yeah, we know Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, so he filmed it on this like crappy video camera, and put it on YouTube of me. I think it's still up there, just doing some recording. And there was this band in New Jersey called Mutiny, and they needed a vocalist, and they were looking everywhere, and they couldn't find someone. And they happened to type into YouTube like metal vocalist. I popped up at that video. The guy sent me a message, says, "Are you interested?" And I was like, loyal to my band, you know. I was like, no, I'm not. I turned it down. Anyway, my band eventually just wasn't going anywhere, and I was working at T-Mobile in Merthyr, you know, the call center. Everyone knows that. Everyone's been there. Like, dark time. So anyway, I was terrible with timing. Like, I was always late, and I was on my 3rd strike. So anyway, I was on the way to work, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to be late again. So I hit the roundabout, and the call center's like there, and I thought I could just leave and just go to America and try this band thing out. So I went around the roundabout 3 times, and by the 3rd time, I was like convinced myself. So I drove home, called up, quit my job, sold a load of stuff, and then just booked a flight to the States and went over.
What a thing to do, man.
Love
So
that.
yeah, but we
Love that.
found at the time, and like I think Roadrunner were kind of, Mike Gitter, the A&R there, was like interested in the band, but it hadn't really it wasn't signable. So we wrote 50 songs in a year, and we got signed, and then we went from there really. Well, that was the crazy thing as well. It's like not quite a tour story, but we got signed, and I didn't have a work visa. I was there as a tourist, so I mean, I shouldn't really be doing any of that stuff, but like I was. That's what everyone does. And I flew over one time to play a show in New York. There was some like music festival, and I flew in, and I got detained at the airport. I got like flagged my visa and everything, dragged into the back room, searched, like went through my suitcase and everything like that. I thought the rubber glove was going to come out, but they went through the suitcase.
You were hoping, like.
Yeah, so I was in there for 5 hours, and like, if they decided to send me home, that was the end of it. Like, I had the record deal, I hadn't got my visa, hadn't applied for it, anything. I was like, this is over, and I managed to lie my way through it, and then I got in, and I got my visa after that, so it was cool. But yeah, it's amazing how many times in life something like that comes up where it could have just all gone to shit, you know. But yeah, so that's anyway. That's the long and short of it, really.
That's a hell of a story, dude.
That's wicked. I love
Yeah, I
that.
remember Andy James. Like, I mean, he was in Wearing Scars, like guitarist, and I remember him. He said, like, when we started working together, I think I know who you are. Like, you're that guy I read in. There was a Metal Hammer interview, and there's this guy, and it was like, oh, man, that's awesome. That guy's done that, and like, yeah, it was that story. So, but I always say to anyone, like, I mean, someone said before in the chat, if anyone can find it, let me know. But someone said, like, you know, don't give up in your dreams. Dreams come true. And that's such an important thing in your life. Like, I always wanted as a kid, like from the age of maybe 15, I wanted to be on Roadrunner Records. That was my life aim, and I just made my entire life around it. And that's the only reason I ended up in Wales, was because I was in Manchester, and the music scene there for like rock and metal wasn't very good. It was all indie. And then there was a really good scene in Cardiff, so and Bridgend, you know. So I just moved to Wales. I went to uni there just with the excuse of meeting people, and that's why I met Rich, I met Ginge, and then met my band, and then just why I went to the States, really. But you know, I think if you set your mind to anything, like, and you guys, you know, with the band, it's the same thing. You set your mind to something, like, you can do it. It's just, it might not happen instantly, and you might be banging your head against a brick wall for 10 years, but eventually, if you keep working at it, you'll chip those little bricks away, and you'll get through to the other side, you know.
Exactly, bro. Couldn't agree more.
So it was a bit of a rant there, but you know.
No, that's right. Talking about South Wales there, yeah, it did have a hell of a scene, didn't it, back then? I mean, we will talk about it one time. The South Wales scene, it was good, wasn't it?
It was amazing. Like, it was great to come down and just be a bit of a part of it. There were venues everywhere. There were gigs everywhere. Like, Ginge and Jeff's studio was like the hub of everything. Everyone just came there and like they give advice, and I don't know. There was nowhere else like it. You know, like there's just nothing like it. It's just, it's weird. Like, you know, I hope that it's still going. I've not been down there in a while. You know, I hope it's still got that.
There's like a new Welsh scene now, dude, because we're going to speak a bit about this next week, because we're doing the whole like fan cast. So I think we're going to kind of bring up old photos of the Welsh scene and when we were in bands and stuff. So it's kind of a new generation now with, like, you know, bands like Florence Black and Scarlet Rebels and Fire Road, and there's a new like Welsh Roxy, Killer Lights, Holden Absence.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I Can't Die. There's loads. I Fight Bears. So there's like a new generation, and it might be still guys from, you know, and Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. All the boys are still there from, like, you know, your Dopamines and Squad and Said Mike, who were kind of around in the early 2000s and stuff. So it's nice to see. Nice to see other bands breaking out or starting new bands, new projects. Do you know what I mean? So it's still going. Yeah, it's a weird one, Wills, where you're right, man. At one time, it was like, it was absolutely rampant, and it seemed like every record label was signing a Welsh band. And then the past, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, say 10 years at least, it's just kind of simmered off. Like, do you know what I mean? But I think there's always been people playing or knocking about doing music. But just that scene, that thriving scene, and also the venues as well. Because as we all know in this...
Do you have a Tom's Bar?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like
man.
that was always
Go
a
to
whole
watch The
thing.
Simpsons there every day at 6 o'clock and have a pint.
What was the
Well,
one
yeah.
you bought with all the poles down the middle as well? You know, the
TJ's.
TJ's Le Pub.
Jays was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Le
Yeah,
Pub.
TJ has some history to it.
There was another one in Newport as well, like the I want to say the waterfront or something. I'll try and remember that. There was like another venue again that opened at one point. Then you had the Newport City Arena. So like we were on about this the other day, and it's something I really want to hit home about.
The Point. Remember the Point?
The Point in Cardiff, mate. Yeah, the
The
Barfly
Coal
in
Exchange.
Cardiff.
Barfly.
Yeah, Coal Exchange. Yeah. So you could almost do a tour of Welsh venues. You didn't have to play the same venue like
Pop
over and
Factory.
over, like, you know.
So
So
that was the thing. I mean, like, you know, I live near Blackpool now. Like, try and get a gig around here. Like, you can't. I've got to drive like 30, 40 miles to get a gig. Or I had a band around here. Like, you know, in Wales, like you can just call up Tom's Bar, have a gig there, TJ. Like, there's gigs everywhere. There's bands fighting for it. It was awesome. It was like a really thriving thing. I've got a question for you guys. All right.
ooh.
Go on.
So, what song from the new album do you think goes down the best live? Like, you know, with the fan response and everything like that. What would you think that would be?
I personally think, because we've been opening with it, but I think it's probably because it is the opener. Who did it? Just it's in there. Do you know what I mean? It's like kicking them in the teeth. And when after that first crack, it's kind of like now you like I wish I could just quickly pull my in-ear out and you go, who did it? And back in. That's when we know it's on. You know, that's my. I think that goes down great.
Yeah,
I
agree.
probably
I
who
agree
did
with
it was Sin on Skin. I think they're the
Sin
two.
on Skin of.
I think and it's credit to like the set list and who did it. You can tell the minute we play that song, you can tell the fans are up for it by if they come in or not on that line. Who did it? And 9 times out of 10 they're there. But halfway through the set, where Sin and Skin is in the set, they're busting for that song. And when the riff starts, I think Shiner starts it. Does Shiner start it? Shiner starts it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You can tell they're immediately they're on that, like they love that. So
Yeah, I think that's we haven't played it live that much. We played it through the tour for like 9 days or something. But I think it's got a lot more to give, isn't it? I think live that song.
I think so because obviously, as you know, Chris, I suffered with singing on the tour, and I called you for advice and stuff, and but they really helped me sing that song Sin on Skin on the tour. It was incredible. Like I just let him sing it.
Yeah.
And just let him sing it. And
there's no better feeling as a vocalist, is there, than to stand there and put the mic out and hear someone singing your words back, and you think, like, especially if the words mean something to you, and like you think they get it as well. It's like it's a powerful thing, isn't it?
It really is. And when I phoned you on Bristol, because I was literally my voice had gone, and we were playing this tiny little venue, and I was in a hotel room, and I phoned you, and I was like, I was basically shitting a brick when I was like, I can't do it. My voice ain't there. And a few nights before we were in Wolverhampton, and I phoned you, and you were like, "Look, try this, try that." And like you're like, "Good news is your voice is still there. We were trying all these techniques and stuff. Don't worry about it; it'll be fine." And Wolverhampton was a brilliant show, boys. It was great. And then we got to Bristol. I phoned you again, Chris, and we did the same sort of thing.
I know what you're gonna say.
Sure, no.
We did do this for me, and we did the scales and stuff, and my voice had gone. It just wasn't.
You just broke, yeah. And I, like at that point, like, because I was trying to give you confidence, I'm like, I can't just say your voice is there. I was like, I just didn't know what to say.
You were just like, it's gonna be okay.
You can't say, mate, you fucked. I'll be like the
I sang the part that Chris was asking, like the test if the voice was okay. I sang it and my voice broke. It's okay, the fans love you, man.
Yeah. No, it's like at that point, it's like kick it into plan B. Like you'll manage.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be fine.
Because it was when I knocked my phone on flight mode, like about an hour before we even went on stage.
Yeah.
But I got off stage, turned it off, And then I turned it back on and looked, and I thought, oh, I got a text from Chris here. I think it read something like, look, Shane's in a bit of a bad way. Just put your arm around him, brother. I was like, that's a bit late to reply now, isn't it? The fucking job's been done.
We might have to help him out on a few bits, like, yeah.
I remember doing that gig in Bristol and just realizing at the end of it, I was like, I don't know if I can do Southampton the next day. And we ended up cancelling it and coming back. I'm glad we did, because it was a better show all around, you know. Like you said, there's nothing worse as a vocalist when you open your mouth and there's nothing there. But regardless of the album, you were there for me, bro. I appreciate it live on the tour. I really appreciated your help and stuff, and your advice and your wisdom.
No, that's all it is just like, I've been in the same situation, and like you just like, if it happened to you again now, you'd know the signs, and you'd be better, you know, you'd find a better way of navigating it, you know what I mean? But until you've had to navigate it, and most of it, as much as like there's obviously some strain on your voice and there may be a bit of swelling there, most of it, it's just mental, isn't it? As soon as you get stressed, it tightens up, and like you can do it to yourself without even having any problems, you know what I mean?
100%. Wolverhampton, I called the boys in the room literally 5 minutes before going on stage. This is a first, everybody. I literally down. I thought this is going to be terrible. It was like 750 to 800 people in a room, and I was like, I can't do the show. And I remember speaking to you, and then Roy got the boys in the room. We're like, what can we do? We can bring the songs down lower. This was literally like 5 minutes before we went.
It was.
We were hashing out every single possibility, weren't we?
And it was one of the best shows on the tour.
It was.
The vibe and the atmosphere was incredible. It wasn't about the vocal, so to speak. So it was brilliant. But I knew on Bristol, I knew if I thought it was bad in Wolverhampton, it was gone by Bristol. Yeah. So Bristol was dead and buried. And the guys that turned up, the fans that turned up in Bristol, if you were there, you know, they were incredible. They sang the songs for me in parts. And I think Sin on Skin, I think that's why it's done so well on the tour, and it's a big favorite right now, because it is one of those, when you sing I feel it, it's almost that natural answer and question and answer sort of response. And they helped me out no end on the tour on that song. So I think Who Did It and Sin on Skin, I think, are the two biggest on the record so far live.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's nice to hear that from you guys, because obviously, you know, we're a huge part of the album. We're there when it's all happening, and then like the crow flies, so to speak, and then you go out on the road with it and you live it every night, and like we're kind of out the picture in a way. It's weird. It's like being in a band and creating the whole thing, and then just leaving the band and then watching it kind of go off. You know, it's a weird thing. It's nice to get some insights into it, because we can see you live, obviously, but we're not on the tour. You know, you see one show, and every show is different.
Yeah.
I think we said it to, I can't remember now which week it was, Ryan, or we were on about the download week anyway, or Mikey maybe. But Who Did It was a last minute switch, because we were opening up with Don't Give a Damn at that point. It just seemed like a really cool riff to come in after our like intro. But we switched to Who Did It, and for me that was like Shane said, kind of even from download, which is weird. It caught on second time round, and people started doing Who Did It, and the song weren't even out. Like, do you know what I mean? It was, So I can't really add much more to that. It was Who Did It, because, you know, it just feels like it's, here we go, it's game on. And then on the last run that we did, Sin on Skin was the middle set. Real nice vibes, goosebumps almost, if that makes sense. And there's certain parts with like the drums and the vocals lock in, and it's just like, I don't know, it feels really intense. I don't know if you boys get that vibe, or whether it's
intensity to it. I said that.
It's just got like a really intensity to it, and like if the crowd add to the band doing the intensity, it's just like, it blows my mind. Like, do you know what I mean? So I love music.
Oh, it's just fucking really tight part, isn't it?
Yeah, I would really look forward to like you guys like developing in your career more and more, and getting a bigger fan base and everything, and like then at some point doing like a live show, like, you know, like properly filmed and everything like that. I think that'd be where everything would shine, because to me, like, you came in there, the rehearsal room, and like, we worked through everything. We've got the album together and everything. And then like we saw you before then, and then we saw you after the studio, and it was like the band had just kind of leveled up somehow, and the show just everything, the confidence was just there. And like, I think that'd be great to capture that in a live show sometime.
We do try and do that, don't we? I mean, we after every show, we just want to level up. There's just no stopping to it, is it? It's like, we know it's a good show. Like, if it's a good show, we're just like, oh, we could do this next time, make it better next time, we can make it better next time. We just can't. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think the funniest thing, you just reminded me then, Dave, is when on the last night of the Stone Broken tour, when you forgot to turn your tuner on.
I always give it up.
That's what he was in now. We were playing Fear of the Broken from Murder. And he went, look, me and you, we'll do this synchronized mosh. We were there going like, literally back and forth. And I looked like that, but there's nothing coming out of his cab. I looked at his tuner and it was still on. I thought, I'm not going to tell him.
It's like
So
that.
he's there going like,
oh, let's have a little go.
So he done an entire intro, first verse, and a chorus, and then another bit of a riff. And then realised, and then bends down and presses it off. I'm like,
moral of the story, kids, never tune your guitar, because that's what happens.
I would have loved to see you come off and not noticed. And you said, it was probably the best show. My guitar sounded the best it's ever sounded.
To be honest, there's a lot of those stories with Dave, right? If you think about the gig after download on the truck.
oh, let's do it again. Do it again.
With the wrong transposition of that song.
Yeah, and the show, I think it was Wolverhampton. When we tried Go Get It for first time?
That was
Manchester.
Manchester.
That was album launch night. That was. Here we go.
Yeah.
Album
That
launch.
That was your fault. That was your fault, Jane, for giving me that tequila.
For me?
Yeah, it was your fault.
It's your fault because you didn't press the fucking pedal.
You've got a drop tune pedal. It starts off Go Get It in the wrong key. So I start singing in that key, and when the band kick in, it's in the wrong key. So I stop it halfway through. I'm like, whoa. But the mad thing was,
that's the only time we've ever stopped the song, like, no, let's start again.
Yeah. But I said, didn't I, at the start of it, it's my own fault, really. I put the thing of death, kiss of death on it. I said, this is the first time we play this. It's probably going to go wrong. And it did it.
Couldn't have gone any more
It was
wrong.
fucking terrible. But
Yeah, but the best thing was, though, me and Shiner, we've never lifted the key up of this song. So it's always lived in the low C. Yeah. So what were you playing at, Dave?
My guitar is tuned into E flat drop, isn't it? So it's C sharp drop. C
I don't know what the hell your guitar's tuned to, mate.
So funny.
But it was basically a drop pedal. You knock the drop pedal on it, and you're playing in drop C. Well, obviously, after the shot of tequila, I was just a bit like pressing.
Yeah,
pedal.
but up to that, it was such a cool night. You know, when you're and Shane's doing the whole "it's our fucking night" and all of that, you know, and everything and it was like, we're gonna play this for the first time and all of that vibe, and it was just like, yeah, fucking yeah, and then it just went.
But Chris, you know the situation, right? Where you're thinking, I know this is wrong. What do I do here? Do I carry on singing and hopefully the band realize and do some miraculous thing and drop their guitars? So I start singing and then like, shit, they haven't. Start again. It was just murder, dude.
It's Joy's live, guys. Joy's live.
You're committed. You just have to carry on, and then suddenly you can't carry on anymore.
Joy's alive, boys. Joy's alive.
I think the best one though was on the back of the truck when can anybody smell weed?
There was some bloke standing in front of me with a little dog, and he was puffing on a joint. So I was probably high on the side of the stage, and there was a little dog in front of me. I was like, "This is the best day ever."
Yeah, I will add before you answer this question. He completely forgot that we were on fucking stage with him at this point, Chris. He's literally now talking to a dog and pointing out to somebody smoking weed in a field while we're ready to go into the next fucking song. And the best thing is, he goes into his solo with that underneath. Yet again, forgot to hit the pedal, so the solo is in the wrong key.
Which made the bass sound like a bloody antique across a wooden floor.
Yet again, has no fucking idea he is playing in the wrong key. We're all looking around at each other going, can he hear that? And he's doing the whole
he plays the entire solo. He plays the entire solo, and at the end of it, we all stop. I just look at him and go, what the fuck is that?
I was amazed.
No, it was Shane's there, you go like that. Are you all right, though? You all right? I think they'll do well again.
Yeah,
but it was the way you counted back in. It was like that. It worked.
Yeah, that video is great as well because Dave was like, "Do it again, do it again, do it again,
do it again." What did you say? If you don't first succeed, try again.
Yeah. Kids, if you don't succeed, try again.
Right, let's try and answer this question for Ian M. Court, mate.
For any collaboration of artists, who would you choose? So, is this like a collaboration of? You guys can answer this. Is this like a collaboration of like dream musicians, or?
Yeah.
If I could produce a band, like I really want to produce a band called Blacktop Mojo. Have you guys ever heard of them?
Sounds familiar.
Like, check out. They've got like a cover of "Dream On" by Aerosmith.
Oh, nice.
All right.
We've got an album out as well. Like, check them out anyway. Like they're incredible. Like, vocalist is insane, really good. But yeah, if I could do like. God, a collaboration. I mean, where do you start with that? I mean, I'd love to work with someone like Alex Bent from Trivium. Do you remember, like, we'd sit there and obsess about that guy's drum videos? Like, the guy's absolutely nuts.
Oh man, yeah,
that'd be amazing. I think if I could have like a dream band I put together from people I don't know, because otherwise I'll offend people I do know. I think I'd have Alex Bent on drums. Like, he's kind of a metal drummer, but he's amazing. I'd have. Maybe Matt Heafy on guitar. I mean, I know it's both Trivium. And then Phil Scrosso from As I Lay Dying on the other guitar.
Cool. Nice.
Vocals. I mean, who you gonna have on vocals though? Probably the guy from Blacktop Mojo. Actually, I think he's amazing. Totally different.
I'll check those guys out when we come off this podcast. I've just looked them up on Spotify. So
yeah, they'll check them out though. They're really good. They got some really good stuff. Like, but as like a producer, like you hear someone and like I always listen to the music and I have loads of ideas, and I'm just like, there's no point me like screaming it on my MP3 player on my phone. I don't have an MP3 player anymore. And bass. I mean, I don't know. You'd have bass really. Bass is just bass in it, Probably Lloyd.
Have you got any questions left for Clancy, boys?
Well, I did have a few earlier. One's from Craig McGill, but it's kind of been answered. I don't know if you want to. What was your favourite CROWS song to record?
To record?
I mean, I know you kind of brushed on something similar earlier, but
I think Kingdom of Dust.
Yeah?
Yeah. It just had a really cool like vibe about it. It was just, and it wasn't. There was nothing, like sometimes a song like you got to really get in there, like to like. I think like Sin on Skin was quite one because it's on din, 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 din. You've got to get it like under a microscope. But yeah, it just kind of it just worked. I think it just happened.
It did, yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I got a quick question from me. All right, we talked about. No, it's a bit of a self sort of question, but we talked about what you learned from Colin, or what you have learned from Colin. Did you learn anything from us as a band when you did the album with us? Like, whether it's just a small thing, or was there anything you learned?
Yeah, I learned a lot about, like, I consider myself like, obviously I'm a like producer now, I guess, but like I'm kind of early in the process, So I learned quite a bit about when to leave you guys to it, more towards the end of the process, to be honest. But like I learned more about the certain times where I didn't have to be in the center of everything going. Sometimes it's best to just stand back, and you guys can do it, And I think that's something like I look forward to. Hopefully we can do another album together. And I think there'd be a lot more of that. We'd be like, oh, this bit here could be a bit stronger. Maybe this needs working on. This needs working on. But I learned across the process. It's not up to me to decide what that's going to be. I don't have to pitch in loads of ideas. I could just say, there you go. You guys figure it out. And I think you did that with Set in Stone.
Yeah.
Like we had all different ideas and everything. And me and Colin just went out and we came back and the song was done. Like it was great. But that's where I learned that from. Like sometimes I don't need to be, me not being part of the process is the best thing that can happen. So that was a huge thing to learn. It was quite hard to learn, but
You're right, dude. Sometimes planting a seed is way more important than actually sitting there on every step of the process.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Like I've always been in the band. I've always been the songwriter in a band, and I've always been, I think I can be quite dominant, and like you've got to learn to not be dominant because it's not my band. It's not my decision necessarily. It's just my job to get the best out of the band. So yeah, but it was a huge learning experience, really. I mean, I felt I was kind of thrown in the deep end a bit with it, but I think I love that as well. So
do you find the transition then working with the Wagons, because obviously they weren't far behind us then, were they, recording their record? Do you find that easier then, because of obviously you've done the whole like Sneeps recording studio, you know what I mean, you've worked on a record. Was there things like it just become a lot easier as in structure wise, you knew what you were going to do right or differently this time, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think every time you do a record, you learn something from it, you take it to the next one. But I think like with songwriting, you write one or two decent songs, and then there's this little like seed in the back of your mind that thinks, oh, maybe I'll just never write a good one again. And you write more, and you think, oh, I could do this now.
Yeah.
And you write different styles, and you get more confident with it. And I think when the Wagons, they're a different band, and you think, oh, just because we've done this with the CROWS and we've done Kill the Lights, like maybe the Wagons were like, there's always a chance you're going to say, oh, we're going to work with this band, and you're going to screw it up. But the Wagons came out brilliant. It was amazing. So, but it was completely different. The process was vastly different. A lot of it was massively different. But that was great because I've learned something for a different style. So I think it just grows your confidence, But yeah, definitely took a lot from with you guys into that, and then I'll take a lot from that if we do another record together back to you guys, So.
Well, yeah, because you would have worked on Kill the Lights first, which their process was completely miles away from us in the Wagons, because obviously you had a big batch of drumming with Moose, and then the other guys are from the States and stuff. So it was it's like what I talked about earlier. You're almost in periods in the band then, if that makes sense. You haven't got that.
There's no crossover between the members, are there? I mean, Kill the Lights was a lot of things because the band had never played together before. It was almost an online thing, and Jordan had a lot of songs, and then like Moose worked on stuff. They flew over, they worked on stuff, but there wasn't really the entire band in the studio at one point for a long time. So it was just a couple of us, and a lot of the songs were kind of demoed, and I'd helped demo them, and it was kind of like, when you write a song, like you say, you've got it in your head. Like I had like parts in my head, so we had a song called, it was nicknamed the Acoustic Song, but it was kind of on the cutting block, so we didn't have time to do it properly, and we recorded it, all the drums, in like 15 minutes because I had the idea in my head of how I wanted it. And I think going from that to you guys was totally different, because you guys were an established band, you've already played together, and you've got that ability to say, oh, you guys, you can figure this out. But with a band as new as Kill the Lights, it's harder to figure out because you haven't got that basis of, oh, when we did this worked, and when we did this, and they haven't got the interaction between each other quite yet. But when it comes around to them doing a new record, they'll have that. So they'll have they'll be able to bring that to the table more. So yeah, but everything's vastly different, and I didn't expect that going into more of a producer role than being a band. Every band you work with, there's just an entirely different way that you're going to get the best results out of that. So I think it's great. It's like varies it up.
So before we lose you, is there it's an hard one to say what have you got planned, because obviously everything's a bit on stoppage at the moment, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? You've only just finished one major project, so
yeah, we've not really got anything really in the works at the moment. I mean, we had some things sort of tentatively lined up for April. But that's all gone out the window. You know, everything's sort of, you know, come to a standstill. But it depends what happens with the record industry, though. You know, I mean, at the moment, bands aren't touring. Streaming's down a little bit because people aren't, you know, on the bus listening to music and stuff like that. So it's a weird time. I think labels, some of them are going to be, you know, quite reserved, and they're not going to want to commit to things. And other labels are going to think, oh hell, let's start an album cycle soon, you know, quicker. So yeah, just kind of sat at home enjoying time with the family, working on my own things and everything, and sort of waiting for the phone to ring at the moment. So yeah,
that's it, man. Just enjoy that time at home now, you know, because that's what we all got to do, really, isn't it?
I don't know, we missed that, but they mate. That was
Yeah, he just froze.
Oh, that's probably not a bad thing, boys.
no. I was intrigued. What were you going to say?
No, I just said, let's all, you know, if there's one good thing that come out of all this, you know, we get to spend time at home, which, you know, as a musician or the rest of it, is not something you get to do very often.
No, it's not. And having the excuse to stay in the house because you need to stay in the house, you know what I mean? Like, we're always off doing stuff and touring, and we've got like commitment.
Yeah. So yeah, you know.
I got a question, Chris. Sorry, before we shoot off, who the fuck builds a Stonehenge?
You've got to post that on the CROWS page now, right? Because that's everyone needs to know about the Stonehenge.
I actually watched the program on Stonehenge the other night on the National Geographic channel.
Was Chris on it?
Fucking class! It's so interesting.
But when you guys went home and it was just like me and Chris and Colin up in the studio, and then Chris was just showing me all this like random sort of comedic stuff. Oh, that I saw
the Alan King survived by his wife. You're gonna have to put on the fan page. You're gonna have to put like little things of like Chris's to watch, like YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
And every band I work with from me on the lab, like, I've seen all this, Chris, and I'll be like, I got nothing.
Honestly,
right then, you know.
I watched that video. It's basically what do they call it? A parody. About Stonehenge. What's the name of the band, Chris? I can't forget.
It's Ylvis, isn't it? I think it's the band that did What Does a Fox Say? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Stonehenge.
You got a song about Stonehenge. Please go and listen to it, because literally that saved me at the studio. I was going mental. Chris showed me a video, and everything was okay after that. It was so funny.
I was producing a band in Norway years ago. That was an amazing experience. We went to Norway, and it was like right near a fjord and stuff. And the guy, it was like late in the studio one day, and we're all tired. He's like, "Oh, let's just put this on," and he put it on, and I watched like everything I put out. I was just in tears, like, you know. I'm glad I got to share it with someone who hasn't seen it.
Honestly, I still watch it. Brilliant.
So good.
A lot of love, man. Well, mate, thanks for coming on, man. And fair play, we've kept you on here longer than
you were the longest guest, Chris, I think.
Good.
Yeah, what time they'll be up at 5 to 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Those damn crows.
Yeah.
Chris, man, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. We absolutely love you, all of us. So
yeah, thank you, guys. Nice chatting to you all. I mean, you know, like we don't get to chat, we don't see each other.
Hopefully, when all this lists, we'll hook up and you know, just have a proper catch up, because it's long overdue. And
go out for a meal.
Colin can take us out for a tie.
Before you go,
here, if you'll come on as well, that'd be awesome. You know, big shout out to Colin, because obviously I'm on here as producer. But Colin.
We would love Colin to come on. I think that's definitely because I know he doesn't do many interviews, but it'd be lovely to get him on just to have a chat and give some of his insight, his favorite tracks. Do you know what I mean? Basically the same. Yeah. So, before you go, mate, any socials you want to plug?
No, I'll check out Kill the Lights. I mean, you know, they've just got some singles out. Me and Colin have done. I think the album's coming out. I hope it's coming out soonish, so keep an eye on that. That's going to be awesome. The Wagons have got some stuff coming out, but yeah, for me, I don't know, I've just got my own little pages, but I don't really use them. So now I try and put in the real world these days.
Chris Clancy, producer extraordinaire.
I miss your rants, mate. I miss your rants.
Running stuff, then you can check out my Instagram, because it's slowly turned from like singing and producing into just
I have noticed, mate. I have noticed.
And you can actually see my haircut aftermath there as well. I was going to try and film it just in case it went wrong, but I had the clippers in one hand, a mirror in the other hand, and I thought, how's a phone going to work? It didn't work.
Cheers, man.
Nah, brilliant.
thanks
Stay
for having me
safe,
on, though.
mate.
Really appreciate it. Great seeing you all.
Love to your family as well, bro.
Shout out to Shiner as well, because obviously
Yeah, man. Yeah.
crossover.
Take
See you
care,
soon,
brother.
bro.
Take care, buddy.
Take care, man.
Take it easy,
Ta-ra.
Chris.
Bye, Chris.
Cheers, guys.
Ah, another
Oh,
week.
that was a nice chat.
That was a hell of a nice chat. That was.
That's
Incredible.
brilliant, that is, because I know he doesn't like his late nights, so I was constantly looking at the timer going, oh, shit, I've kept him on you longer than any guest.
Yeah.
And like literally when I spoke to him in a week, I was like, look, dude, when you come on, we won't keep you on for ages. I know you get up early with the baby. So as I see it go past 2 hours, I'm like, oh, fuck. And he was having a time. Yeah, I didn't really want to pull it, but... You know, I also didn't want him to look at the clock when it all settled down. He's like, fucking 12 o'clock.
Hey, what the fans maybe you can get out of this is the bond you can kind of get with if you do an album with a producer, the bond you can kind of get as a musician, and like kind of what you go through and the feelings you bring up when you're doing it, and like
absolutely.
you share a lot together, you know, so you bond quite strongly, don't you?
100%. But what I will say about Chris, it's not even a musician point of view. It's like a personal point of view. Like I see a lot of stuff in Chris, like that resonates with me, like personally, how he sort of sees things, how he's like 100 mile an hour and get the ideas down. And there's a lot of that. I kind of resonate with him.
Yeah.
From a vocalist, from a producer point of view, ideas and stuff. But as a person, forget producer, as a person, he's just top, like. So great to see him. And I'm so glad he got on the CrowCast. And I've run out of Jack.
Oh, sad times. In and nice, mate.
I'm out of wine as well.
I told you it goes down really quick. Before we go, we got to announce some winners. Hopefully everybody's still awake. I know a lot of people have tuned off. You know, this is something, like I always said, we're never going to put a time limit on it. If it's going really well, it could, you know, it could end up going to 3 hours, 4 hours. You can always tune back in the next day on our YouTube channel.
Exactly.
Something else to listen to. I think it'd be wrong to try and stop it at an hour if, you know, there could be things that you guys want to hear about. So I apologize to those who are kind of going, bloody hell, 2.5 hours nearly, you know what I mean? But we're doing it for free. Hopefully you're enjoying it. So
just
let's get
it
on
out when you like it.
Exactly.
So the first question.
Can't remember. What was it?
First question. I love it.
Blink of an eye piano version played first.
The first time we played
Right.
Blink Eye, the piano version. Where was that? Have we got an answer?
No.
Steelhouse 2019.
That's true.
Yeah, but who was it?
Who said it?
No.
Who was it?
Shut up, Dave. Right. Pete Williams, you got in there first, but you didn't
fuck off,
say the
Pete.
year. You didn't say the year.
Oh,
So I can't give that to you. Because we played Steelhouse now 3 times.
Yeah, good point. That's true. So who's the first person who said Steelhouse 219 and Lloyd?
Jane Smith.
Ah, well done, Jane.
Well done, Jane. There's a
Nice.
beautiful mag from Morag on its way to you.
Let me just put a picture of it up.
Check this out. Which one is she going to have? Is she going to have the one with Ronnie and Lloyd?
I think they wrap
Dave
round,
in the corner.
dude.
Oh, they do they?
Yeah, I think
They're
they
the
wrap
same.
round.
That's just 2 ends. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
man. That's what she said. So the second winner, which
Hang on. Pete Williams, he's kicking off. Yeah, he's calling me an arse. Mate, I'm not the arse here. You're the one that got it rotten.
Well done.
carry this on another chat, innit? Carry this on another chat. So the second competition, maybe Pete won this one. It was finish the lyric. So
Yeah. The lyric after this one, as it rots away and plagues your mind, what is the lyric after that?
What is the lyric, Shane?
The lyric is, and I only know because I'm reading it.
Yeah, go on.
The remainder of who you are gets left behind. Who said that, Lloyd? Apart from me.
Now, Catherine Ann joins. She had it right first.
Yeah.
Right,
But-
Catherine.
Liz Allen nearly had it, but she mixed the word up. And she got in there first before Catherine. But I can't give it to you, Liz, because you mixed the word up and you got it wrong. You were
What a
so
tease.
close.
What a tease.
So I'm sorry about
Sorry,
But-
Liz.
that. Catherine Ann joins.
There we
Well
go.
You are
done.
the winner.
Well done,
Well
Catherine.
done.
I
And yet
quite like
again,
this. I'm letting people down. Like I'm pretty good at this.
Morag, thank you so much for doing that. That's
Thank you,
absolutely
Morag.
amazing. So
you.
you guys have won the competition this week. Next week we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to do a couple of competitions on air because I think it's more fun.
Yeah.
And like what we said next week, spread the word. We're going to speak to the admins this week. We purposely left a week without a guest next week because we think it's all going to be about you guys. To give a little spoiler as well, I think we might upload some photos because that was asked on previous CrowCasts. So photos of us in old bands, photo of us as kids, basically how we grew up together and stuff like that. So we'll probably do that next week. So just keep an eye on the fan page. Don't forget anybody who wants to make donuts for Shiner, so you can have a look at your pictures. You can get involved with that. And basically stay safe and keep positive this week. This has been a great week, it says. So
I'll drink to that.
bloody great,
Absolutely.
mate. Jack Daniels, honey, mate. I bought a bigger bottle as well. So it's absolutely awesome. But
Love you
yeah,
all.
Drop that glass, Dave.
thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for getting involved in the competitions. Keep an eye on the fan pages. Go to our merch store. There's nothing else that I'm forgetting by you besides the merch, obviously. I'm sorry, I've got loads of graphics loaded up. There it is. I apologize. There it is.
Buy some merch.
Yeah, add into that merch next
Who?
week.
Ah!
Log on to crow.com.
as Shane said, we have new merch come in. There are new merch come in, so hopefully you'll like it, you'll buy it, and you'll support the band. Otherwise, we'll be back next week for a super fun cast where we'll be putting loads of your comments, loads of your questions up here, loads of photos,
Right,
and just
it's all about-
basically having a drink with you guys next week.
Just hang out and chill out and have fun, innit?
Yeah.
But thank you very much for tuning in, and see you next week. Stay safe.
Thanks, guys.
Peace, everyone.